Hey guys, hey everybody. I think has just came over from Malt's place. There's Peter. Good to see you, man. Jump over early. Sorry, didn't mean to jump the gun on him. I had to come over because I have a guest, as you can see. Mr. Stephen Connor is going to have a dream with us. Can you turn your volume just a little bit down? I can hear myself coming through your speakers.
Oh, 1 second. Hold on. Sorry. Try it now. I didn't
Sure.
mean to have my volume was on the computer. I meant to turn that off. Go ahead.
You're fine now. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Stephen's come to have a little Amrut with us, and we'll also be having a little Paul John. Uh, Great to see it. Wow, a lot of people just came in all of a sudden. Good to see you guys. And Steven has been a regular of the show for quite a while. We've been doing it for at least a couple of years now.
Mhm.
And I always try to get him to come on because he's got the best collection, I think, out of anyone I've known in 5 years of doing this. So it's rare to get, when you're looking at a bottle like this, which I think there's only like what was the yield on this one? Like 500,
Which,
600?
yeah, tell me again, which one are we doing?
The one of them is going to be I guess you pronounce it Atama or Atma.
It's Atma. Atma
Atma.
is
There
the
we
yeah,
go.
Atma.
What is it, like a 5 or 600 release? If I remember correctly, I
Is
could
this
be.
which is it the port one we're doing? I've got a bunch of these Atmas, so
It's
that's
the
what I'm wondering.
peated port one. Yeah,
Heated
it's
port. Let me grab that one.
Amrut Atma. I have to get used to seeing it that way. But with it being Indian, it should be pretty straightforward, at least there. So
360 bottles. Oh,
yeah, see, so there's not really many. So
hmm
that's why it's great to have someone that's like Steve, because he's also like us that likes to try to get a couple of these bottles on the side, and luckily enough, can actually get his hands on some of these.
yeah. It's surprising in Nashville where I live. Amrut's the easy. It's easy to get. It's They're on the shelf all the time. There's a few stores that so anything that comes to the states, I'm able to get my hands on pretty easily. Even some of the more rare bottles, but just lucky. For some reason, Nashville gets a good amount of them.
And Malt's coming to come by here in a second. I just Steven are
Yeah.
also having on the show too at the same time, so we'll have both of them on board here in a second after Eric just wrapped his the happy hour show. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check out the happy hour show on the side. Let me add him to the stream. Good to see you
Uh-oh.
there, Malty.
The big surprise is in the house. It's Stephen
Hey,
Connor.
what's up, Eric?
What's
How
up,
you doing,
brother?
man? Yeah, it's
I'm
going
good.
well.
I'm
It's going
doing
well.
good,
Good to see
man.
you.
It's good to see you too, and I'm glad you were able to make it, dude. This is exciting.
Me too. Me too. I always, anytime you want to drink, I'm going to be there. So.
Excellent. Good to see you, Stephen. How you doing, Telex?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Been looking forward to this for a long, long time. I was lucky enough to swing by Petite Cellars here local to me in Maryland, and my buddy Tom grabbed me 2 bottles of this, and I asked Eric, I'm like, hey, man, would you be interested in one of these? And he's like, hell to the yeah, because there's
hmm
not very many of these, and I'm so glad Tom picked it up for us. So I've been sipping on it, as you can see already. I'm
Oh
down to
wow.
I've been down to the side here, and really thoroughly enjoying it. So I can't wait to get into some notes on that one. And
That's
plus, you
awesome.
got the Paul John from Eric.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. This is an uncorking for me of the Atma, so I'm very much looking forward to finally tasting this Telex. This has been sitting on my shelf for upwards of a few months. I keep staring at it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this an opening thing. I'm gonna open it on the show, and the day has finally arrived. So here we are.
Since this one's peated, I mean, they're both peated, I take it, but this one's probably a higher ABV. I wonder if we should start with the Paul John first, or does it make sense to you?
Does Steven have it?
I believe he does have both,
I,
don't
I
you?
you know I have Paul John. I don't think I have the Christmas what you're talking about there, but I have Paul John. I've got a couple of really good ones. So
Oh, okay.
happy to if you guys want to work on that one, I can drink on something else. We still talk about it.
Sure, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, Telex.
If I don't have a preference, I just thought palate wise, it might be better to start with the Paul John and then do the Ottoman at the end, maybe.
Let's do it. So here it is.
Let me give you a feature here.
Oh,
1 second.
let me put on my face first. Jesus.
If I can click on this right, I always get this messed up. Hold on. There we go.
All
Go
right,
ahead, man.
y'all. What's up, everybody?
He's got the close up eye rub.
Yeah, I just get a little of that Winston hair to my eyes. So here's what's going on, y'all. We're gonna taste first. This is Paul John Christmas Edition, 2020, and so here's the deal with this. Started in 2018. You can start getting the Christmas editions here in the United States in 2019. The first one was a PX edition back in 2019. This is 2020, 46% ABV, non-chill filtered. It is ex-bourbon, ex-oloroso, and virgin oak cask, and it's got some peated malt in it. So a lot of complexity here. I have been eager as all hell for Telex to try this because, in full disclosure, if you were part of a live show that I did many moons ago when I opened this, I was quite impressed. So I'm going to get some of this in the glass right now. Again, it's got the weird Paul John body or bottle, but we're talking ex-bourbon, Oloroso, virgin oak, and a hint of peat. They really shot for the moon with this one. And, you know, since it's my pour, I am going to hand things over to Telex to let him give his initial impressions. But I'm very excited for you to try this, Telex.
Me too, man. I love the legs on this are nice and slow and far from each other. I like to see that.
You like them spread? Is that what you said? You like them
spread nice and far and
wide?
wide.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I like them thick too.
Thick and spread. Okay. Telex is a thick and spread legs guy for everything.
46%.
Feel free to chime in here, bro. I mean, whenever you have any commentary on the legs of your whiskey.
I'll drink to that.
46% is a great ABV.
Yeah, non-chill filtered.
I love the fact they got the ex-bourbon, the ex-oloroso, and the virgin oak together on this one.
What about peat?
Say again?
And a little bit of peat too.
Ooh. Speaking of on in general, Stephen, as far as Amrut versus Paul John, do you have a favorite distillery from India? And if it's not one of these two, is there another one that you also like?
It's Amrut. I mean, Amrut's I've got probably 20 different bottlings of it, and so I'm a big fan. I think they're a great distillery. Paul John's great too. I haven't got as much into them, and what I've had, I haven't been. It's still good. In fact, I'm drinking, just to give you guys an idea what I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking a Cadenhead's Amrut, or excuse me, Paul John.
Nice.
This is 7 years old, but it's kind of it's an interesting one because it's matured in India and Scotland. So so it's a cask strength 55.4 oak cask in summer of 2019. So in a bourbon hogshead. So it looks like 348 bottles. So I got this in Edinburgh when I was over there, and I was really impressed with it. Quality, it's a high quality dram. So I like it. I like all of the India's whiskeys I've had.
Did they say where in Scotland? I mean, it's not an Isla, right? I'm assuming.
No, it's Cadenhead, so it was aged in.
I'm sorry. Okay, so Campbellton.
Yeah, Campbellton. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I didn't know you can get a Cadenhead Amrut from Cadenhead. That's awesome that you can, though. I didn't even know you could do that. Mm-hmm. I love the Indian flag on the bottle and the whole nine yards. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Have you ever had any of? So the only other India-based distillery that I see stuff from here somewhat regularly is Rampur. Have you had any of the Rampur stuff?
I have. It was what I had was passable. It wasn't the quality what I had here with the Paul Johns or the Amrut. I mean, it was fine. It was a cheaper. It wasn't a a $200 and something bottle or $100 and something bottle. It was more of an entry level, but it was fine. I'm interested to try more, but I just had a couple of grams of one of their more entry level ones.
So I take it that these two are like the top Indian distillers, is Amrut and Paul John. Is that pretty much it?
That's the impression I've got. Yeah. I mean, the stuff seems a little bit more hit and miss in terms of availability here in the United States, at least. I've not, full disclosure, I've not had any of them, so I can't speak to it. But I know that they have like a double cask that seems somewhat available, but I've not tasted it.
I've been lucky enough to have a couple Paul Johns from my buddy Taj in DC. He had a couple of Paul John samples that we swapped at one point when he was able to come by the house, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by how the quality was on those. I mean, they weren't like anything like ultra old or anything like that, but the offerings that they had were actually pretty well done, surprisingly.
No, all
And
their
same with
core
Amrut
range is
too.
very good. I mean, the edited, I think there's a classic. I've got a couple
The
more. Let me
bold,
see. Yeah,
the bold, which is like one of the peated, heavily peated lines.
This is a peated one here.
Yep.
This is the peated select cast, so it's the higher strength, 55.5% ABV. I've had this for a while. Got it in California a while back, but quality. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it at all. It's I think it's at the time it was around $100. That's what I paid for.
Yeah. I have a similar like a Paul John Select Oloroso. It's like 48 or something like that. I mean, but one of the key takeaways that I think for folks who are tuning in who maybe don't know a lot about Indian whiskey and they go to the shop, they see a bunch of non-age statements and they're like, gives them pause. Much like Kavalan, the climate of India and the area of distillation really does have an effect on ages. So like, for example, I mean, a lot of, the story with Amrut is like they lose a lot to evaporation because of their elevation. And so you will get whiskeys that are, non-age statement, but maybe 4 or 5 years old, but, equivalent in the Scotch world of like 14, 15 years old, but they lose a lot of to evaporation because they're at such a higher sea level.
Heat's another thing is because especially with Amrut where they're located, it gets super hot. Yeah.
Speaking of hot, man, this nose is outstanding on this Paul John.
So just for the folks who are just joining, we're the first one we're tasting here. Telex and I. This is the Paul John Christmas Edition 2020, 46% ABV. It is ex-bourbon, Oloroso, and virgin oak, and a hint of peat, lightly peated.
The first notes right off the gate are major, spicy, nice cinnamon, like cinnamon sticks, like actual goods, like quality cinnamon.
Yeah.
But it's also got this really nice molasses, almost treacle note on the nose itself. You almost can smell the thickness in it.
Well, we know you're into thickness, Telex.
Oh yeah, that caramel, man.
No, I'm with you on that, man. And there's also like a youthful vibrancy, which is coming off that virgin oak. I mean, and virgin oak, for disclosure, this is stuff that's never touched whiskey before. So you were getting like the most raw oak forward notes, and there's a spice level. You said cinnamon, like I'd even go further.
Yeah,
like there's a cinnamon from the bourbon cask, but there is a raw kind of just like freshly cut wood note.
There's a bark, yeah.
And it doesn't even overpower it. It like complements, which is what I think is so fantastic.
Yeah. You could detect the sweetness I love on the nose on this too. You don't even have to taste it to smell like these really nice sugary gumdrops, and there's also like the cedar wood kind of note in the background too, like a sandalwood cedar kind of.
Yeah, totally. And the sherry, it's a fresh sweet sherry note.
I'll be honest with you. The sandalwood note, you do get that in Indian whiskeys a decent amount. Even in whether it be Paul John or Amrut, so you do get that note.
I like that on this a lot, and it's really surprising how well balanced the sweetness and the spiciness just on the nose itself is.
Give it a taste. This was my pour, so I'm going to let Telex go first. But
yeah,
it's so good.
It's a really great mouth coat. I'd say it's medium. The 46 is pretty spot on ABV. I wouldn't change it at all. It's great, neat. It's got now I'm getting more of like the medium to dark brown sugar notes. spice level is not as high as it's higher on the nose than it is on the palate on the spice level for me, which is actually not a bad thing. It's interesting.
Yeah, I find like the fruit notes on this, they like the sherry notes get much darker and richer on the palate than they do on the nose, which is an interesting, not expected contrast.
Yeah, I got a lot more fruit on the palate than I do on the nose, but they're both good. It's just a funny order that they come in.
There's just so much going on in this. It's. Have you had this one before, Stephen? Have you had any of the Christmas?
I haven't. I haven't had any of those. Yeah.
Man,
it sounds great.
Yeah, these come in at around $89. You can get them stateside. You can't get the 2018, but the 2019, which is a PX, you can get, and then the 2020 still somewhat available. I mean, I'll be honest. The complexity level here on this one is enough to, like, on paper be like, this whiskey's a mess, but man, it somehow really holds together. And I feel like the bourbon cask, like you get the accentuated virgin cask kind of like, or virgin oak, sharp wood notes, you get some of that sherry, but it's all kind of rounded off by that bourbon cask, which I think is just
okay. So it's well integrated is what you're
very
saying.
much.
There's getting a lot of really good dates and figs on the back end on this one too, on the palate. It's amazing how much fruit, other like mid-level fruits, medium strawberries, but more like raspberries.
That peat note's not timid. Like you get some of that, but it doesn't overpower at all. It's super complimentary.
I was going to ask about that because on this one, it is also peated, the one I'm drinking, and so it's nice. It's got a very nice peat note. So I was wondering if yours was peated.
Yeah, this has some peated malt in it, but it is, again, they know what they're doing. You know, like it's not overpowered by this. It's very complimentary.
Right.
It's more subtle than I would even say the cask influences are.
Yeah, this has more smokier notes than peaty. I mean, it's got peat to it, but it definitely has more of a smoky, and then the smoke comes more in the finish than on the initial palate to me.
Yeah.
It's real smoky on the back, like toward the end, and it's not an ashy white smoke. It's more of like a dark, black, charred kind of a smoke, which actually works really well with this Oloroso sherry, man. I really like this one so far. I might wish it might be higher in ABV, just a smidgen, but not by much. That would be really the only thing. I mean, with the age thing, it's kind of tough, like you guys were talking about with the climate and the heat and everything you got to deal with, but
yeah, I wonder if they use ABV to compensate for that. I mean, I'm assuming that. Stephen, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. I mean, so like here you got a distillery that like is working against the elements. You know, like do you think that a place like that would use, increased ABV as a way to try to like get more performance, quote unquote, out of their malts, as opposed to just.
Good question. Yeah. They don't have anything. I don't think they put it in the barrel. I think it's pretty much. I need to make sure on that. I can look it up, but I think it's around the same as what normal. The range of Scotch would be put into the barrel. It's not anything that's out of the norm. I don't believe. I think it's drops. I think it's just very good cask management, which you have to do in this because of the elements. Because if you don't, then it's going to the whiskey can be ruined pretty quickly and over oaked, or it's got to be really well managed. And I think they have a great system of doing it. I know, and I'm talking with my experience with, especially with Cavalan, and I'm sure it's the same with Amrut and with Paul John. So. But it's all about the cask with those guys, because it has to. Because I mean these whiskeys take on a lot of cask influence because of the climate. And
you figure like it's an interesting like comparison compared to places. I mean bourbon to some degree, but Scotch definitely, where in a way you have less wiggle room. You're going to put out a good quality product. It almost necessitates that you're much more skilled in one area than like a jack of all trades across the entire production, right? I mean, you really need to know your casks if you're going to put out something that's going to compete in a world where you're advertising as a single malt. And let's be frank, most of the people who are drinking most of these Indian single malts are probably Scotch drinkers.
Yeah, they're Scotch. And look, Amrut Scott, they put out so much, and there's special ones. I think Dustin makes a good comment that he thinks Cavalan is, of course, putting out a little bit better cask, has a little bit better cask, and their management. I don't doubt that at all, because the influence that Cavalan has in their cask is incredible. What they're using.
Yeah,
they're Taiwanese, right?
Yeah, they're Taiwanese, and I will say, I've heard some interesting things about what they're doing with the cask and how they get the their sherried whiskeys to be so dark and to be almost beyond the darkest. Their sherried whiskeys are some of the darkest whiskeys I have, anything I have, Glendronachs or anything. But they don't have the exact same rules as Scotch has nowadays. So, but that's all hearsay that I've heard through some industry people. But so I don't want to really spread it. But they do a great job no matter what in their cast. So the Indian guys do the same thing. I mean, they have to have, it's not you have to have good control of that, or you're going to really screw your whiskey up.
The notes on this after the water are insane to me on the nose. Like I get a lot more grapes, white grapes, red grapes, Concord grapes. And I get this wave of peaches. I'm getting a lot more fruit even on the nose after the water, which is kind of nice. I mean, I like the peat. I don't want the peat to go away per se, but I do like to explore all the different things I can get out of this just by a couple of drops of water.
Curious if you're getting a heavy gingerbread note, and I mean heavy, like a gingerbread note that is unmistakably gingerbread, not like a fusion of it's sort of gingerbread, it's sort of pickled ginger, like a heavy gingerbread note.
This is I would even call it almost like a rye-esque type of note. It's so heavy.
Yeah.
It's very rye.
Okay.
Well put.
It's like that pepper. It's like pumpernickel, like that dark marbled bread that you can get at the store. It's freshly cut. That's what I get out of this a lot.
And that's the virgin oak speaking, and it is assertive here for sure, especially with water. But my God, the way that the sherry and the bourbon cask influence it, like it's like every time you go in, the first thing that hits you is a little different, Yeah. The melon quality to this, there's a pear quality to it that pops. It pops and goes away. It's weird.
I with mine, and I'm just doing is I was surprised on how mellow this thing is. But I think the 2 years in Scotland, because that's what it was, 2 years aged in Scotland too. Did a really good thing to it. It's a quality draft.
Well, let's give it a taste. Hey, Telex.
Yeah, man. I jumped the gun a little bit, man. I was thirsty. It is Tasty Tuesday.
I already finished mine, so I'm gonna go move on to another one.
As I say, it's Tasty Tuesday, my friends. It's gone. Yeah. That was really good, though. Wow. I mean, the bourbon notes on this are insanely good. The sherry notes in this are insanely good, and the virgin oak qualities on this actually shine. Where that nose is insanely good, both with neat and with water.
Oh.
And the finish after the water is it's got a nice sweetness that still comes in. I still get the peat in the smoke especially toward the end. Wow, man.
So good. It's so fucking good. I'm just gonna say it. This is
for a Christmas dram. This is up there with like if you don't. This is what, about 75? You said, right? 75 to 80.
This is closer to 100.
Oh, 100. Okay.
Yeah, this one in particular, like Telex said, I mean, we're looking at ex-bourbon, Oloroso, virgin oak, and peated, lightly peated malt. This is going to cost you about 90 to 100. It's 40.
Still not bad.
Non-chill filtered.
I'm curious. I mean, I wonder. I know that Cavalan did some virgin oak. I wonder. It doesn't say anything about age or anything. It's just it's a blend. No. So that's a single malt.
It doesn't. I mean, they have manufactured date. This is batch one. So that matters. It doesn't say anything about age. You know, like trying to read the manufacturing data is, you know, a fool's errand to some degree. My guess is that you're looking at 3 to 4, maybe 4 to 5, but that's India. So, you know, 9 to 10 Scotch. It's tough to say. I wouldn't say that anything in this whiskey is particularly, from the flavor tasting, imparts the idea of age. Like there's not, it doesn't come off as an aged whiskey. It comes off as a more like refined and crafted whiskey. And I think the youthfulness is belied by the cask quality. And that's more of what I get. But, you know, as we normally do here on the show, if it's one of our pours, the other person goes first. And Telex is looking eager to talk about Amrut, so I'm going to give it to him. I'm sorry, Paul John. So Telex, final thoughts here on Paul John Christmas Edition 2020.
Wow, man, it is really good, and it's up to the quality that I've had on a couple other Paul John offerings. I can't remember the exact models that they were, or bottles, but the quality is definitely there. The only thing that I wish that this bottle had more of that it doesn't is just the ABV factor. Not to say that it feels weak. It doesn't feel like it's lacking. I just can see the potential in what this would be if it had maybe 3 to 4% more ABV. And that's only because maybe the finish might be a smidgen longer, it might have a little heavier of a mouth coat, things like that might be there. But I'm not really knocking it for what it is. Like if I wanted to get a whiskey for Christmas time and I didn't want to go all high ABV like a Abelard or Albana or something like that, and I wanted some sherry and I wanted some really good balance with some peat, this is like the perfect thing. It's not really lacking with the craft, the character. I mean, on this coloring and non-chill filtered, right? I would think on this.
Correct.
So the craft is excellent. The only thing we don't really know much of is the age, but we really don't care as much, because I think Eric nailed it with this. This is more of a showing of what good craft cask selection and maturation and things like that, even on a short-term level, what you can really do. Oh man, this is well above average for me. I would, since I can only really knock it for ABV and everything else. I love the smoke. The finish is pretty long. I mean, I'd say a medium to long finish on that. Wish it maybe lasted a little bit longer, but that's just because I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go 3.75 to 4 on this, and I'm debating on if I should pull out the 4. Man, I'm gonna go 4 on this one. Wow. Definitely. I really like it.
Right on, Telex. Yeah, a ditto to everything Telex said. This is an exceptionally well crafted whiskey, but it doesn't. And I know sometimes that the words "well crafted" to seasoned whiskey heads can sound like a Macallan, like where it's like, it's very well crafted. There is a youthful energy to this whiskey. There's a vibrancy to this that I feel like almost belies the cask quality. Like it's just a really good malt across the board. And then you have this many casks. I mean, when they went from 2019, which was just PX, to this, where they are doing 3 different cask maturations with a peated malt, I think they fucking nailed it. I don't know. I mean, higher ABV, maybe. I don't know if I'm with Telex completely on that. I think I see where he's coming from. But this is no slouch. I'm so excited to see what the Paul John 2021 is. This is by far my favorite Paul John of the line I've had. I have had the edited. I have had the bold. I've had the 48% Oloroso Select. This blows, I won't say blows them out of the water, but this is a step above. And I'm going to be even more aggressive on this. I'm a 4.25 out of 5 on this.
Wow.
At 89 to 90 bucks, I think this is a must buy for people who are like really into exploring the complexity of single malts, particularly Scotch. This whiskey is going to turn your head. I really, really think so. It's that good. In contrast, I'd say the PX is maybe more a 3.75. This nails it. I'm so glad I bought an extra bottle of this. Absolutely love it. 4.25. Keep your eyes open for the Paul John Christmas edition 2020.
Do you, Eric? Do you take and I can't remember. I should know this, but do you take price into account for your scores?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I took price out of this, yeah, I do. Like usually, but only in a 0.25 out of 5% difference. Kind of like malt reviews. Where you're like, if you look at malt reviews, sometimes they're like, knock it just to like a hair. This one is neutral on cost. I really think even with the cost is not bumping or lowering this for me. I think the malt itself, irrespective of cost, is 4.25. I think it's that good. I think it's that interesting. I think it's that much fun to drink. So yeah, I'll sit at 4.25 comfortably on this. If I had to choose cost, maybe bump it to a 4 just because it's it's almost $100 whiskey, and it's an NAS, but we're looking at something well crafted.
Yeah,
and
it's NAS in an area.
Age is relative with these.
You want it to be NAS. Trust me, you don't want a 15-year-old whiskey aged in India.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, with cost as a factor, I'm bullish on this. I'm 4.25. I think this is a great whiskey.
Sounds good to me, man. I was looking to see if they had, of course. Do you know when they might release the 2021 version of this?
I do not.
Okay.
I hopefully before Christmas, but I don't know. So they've only done 3 Christmas editions.
Okay.
They did a 2018 that was not available in the U.S. I have never seen it anywhere in the U.S. They did the 2019, which was a PX. That one you can still find here or there, and then the 2020 you can find quasi available.
Did you have the 2019 as well?
I do. I got a bottle of it. I'll send you some.
Did you enjoy that one more than this, or this one more than that?
No, it was good, but it's. I think this is a standalone. I think this one is a level different. It really is. It just. You get, I can taste every maturation in this, almost methodically, like a Lefroy Gloire. You ever had Lefroy Gloire? You can like maybe you don't love it, but like you can taste each maturation methodically in it. It's that crafted. This is the equivalent of that. You really can like pick this thing apart in a systematic way, and yeah, it's harmoniously integrated. It really is. So I do not know when the 2021 comes out. I will buy it.
Same here. I mean, that was beautiful compared to other Christmas type drams that you might want to try.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess the Christmassy aspect of it is, in the eye of the beholder. But the actual just craft and quality of this is.
It definitely had a fruitcake vibe to me, and that's all you need to have a good Christmas whiskey. Good spice, good sweetness, good balance, a little peat. Ho, ho, ho. I'm ready to go. I'm the type that sings Christmas carols in July because I'm so ready for Christmas already.
Apparently, bro. Apparently. But yeah, I love it. And Stephen, you are a connoisseur of sorts. I would stand on my sword and say, if I was going to pour you a whiskey, this would be one of them. And I would
love to try it. I have so many bottles nowadays. I'm very picky now what I buy. Because I have way too much. That's the problem. But it's your first world problems, right?
Some would argue that that's not a real thing. But I understand what you're saying, and I'm sure there's some other folks in the chat that are saying, and I'm sure that Telex understands what you're saying. What did Mark Twain say? Good whiskey, with good whiskey, there's never enough.
That's right.
But I really do think, you would, if you pursue a bottle like this, I do think you would be pleasantly surprised at what they do with this. I think it shows it portends more than anything about like what Paul John can do. I mean, I think that's what's really exciting about it.
No, that's great to hear. Yeah.
I had a couple questions real fast on their regular offerings. If you guys think they're worth it, even a pickup. They've got like a classic select cask Indian whiskey from Paul John runs from 90, and a peated select cask that runs about 90. Are those pretty decent? The select and the classic.
I would look for their. I mean, honestly, this is what I would do. I would look for the select cask. Is what you said?
Yeah.
Is it the high? It's the higher ABV. It's not a lower ABV, right? The peated one. What's the ABV on that?
It's a 55.2.
Well, I have an earlier version of that. I would recommend that one. Yeah.
And they got a 55.5 peated one that.
That's the one I have. That's the one I have.
Yeah, I'd buy those without hesitation.
Yeah.
And for $90, that's a pretty good deal, I would think, right?
Yeah. I mean, and then like their core range stuff. I mean, you're looking at, admittedly some weird names. The Bold edited. The Bold I reviewed recently. The Bold is actually surprisingly good. It has some unique characteristics to it. I have not had the edited enough to speak on it, but I really think, for the most part, I mean, all of their stuff is near integrity bottling all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's non-chill filtered. I mean, I think that there's good stuff to have. They're making good stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to pull the trigger on one of those 55% ones. I didn't realize they had that high ABV on their whiskey like that.
I would. You won't be disappointed. I mean, you're looking at it's like buying a Cavalan, but a little cheaper. And it's not Cavalan, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's that world where it's like, oh, the cask influence is so amazing that it belies the age, which may throw off people from a North American market,
As far as Cavalans go, just a quick question, Steve, and I'm not sure you might know this bottle. I see it on sale, and it's a big sale, and I'm wondering if it's worth the trigger pull in this. It's a Cavalan Solist Moscatel Sherry single cask strength single malt whiskey. It regularly runs $5.99, and I got it for $3.99.97.
No,
yeah, I just had it last week
because I can get it for you for $250.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
In fact, I have a $250 bottle of it up there, and Binny's here in Chicago has another one at a location. If you want it, I can get it for you for $250 plus tax.
That's a great deal. I've got it too. I had it last week.
It's so good.
I was disappointed a little bit, honestly. But I'm a weird one. But
Steven's got some really great Cavalan whiskeys.
Well,
to pick
I do
from.
have some great Cavalans. I have a lot of. I have all of them. I've tried them all, and it was a very grapey Welch's grape juice.
Okay.
Very Welch's grape juice, and it was just a little not exactly what I wanted in my whiskey. Honestly, it was a little off-putting to me. It wasn't bad, and I'll be honest with you. I had it during an incredible tasting. I had really high quality drams. So
right next to it, yeah.
Yeah, so it might have been toward the end toward the end of the night or the end of the line for but it's still there was no dog in the tasting. I was expecting a little more like some of the other ones that I'm more partial to, and but that's just
Let me ask
being
you this,
honest.
Steven. I mean, just out of curiosity, because I have a line on. I don't know the years, but I have a line on the Cavalan Solist Muscatel or the Fino, both at 25. Which one would you buy for $250?
The Solist Muscatel. You're talking about.
Yeah, the Solist Fino or the Solist Muscatel, $250.
I mean, the Fino's
I bought both.
The Fino's better. I like the Fino more. I like the Fino, no doubt about it. I like the Fino more. Fino's up there with one of the ones I like the most. I mean, the Fino, and I'm just looking to see here. Remind me. Here's the Moscatel here. I've got it right. They're all right here. PX. This is the Manzanilla. I think Manzanilla is probably my favorite Cavalans. What I've had is the Mezzanilla, and the Vino Barrique and the
Yeah.
Fino.
No. Yeah.
Those are those are my, and I love the port too. The port's good, but those are the Mezzanilla, the Vino Barrique, and the Fino are my top three. I'm very partial to the Vino de Barrique when it's done right, and some of the single casts I've had.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
I'm with you on that. I mean, I have a Muscatel, I have a Fino, I have an ex bourbon, and I have a Vino, and then I have 3 store pick sherries, which I love. But I feel like I don't know. As of a week ago, if you were going to spend $250 blindly,
it's a great deal. It's a great deal on it.
Which one would you go with? I know I bought both because I was like, there's no way I'll ever get these again.
No, especially for $7. I mean, I bought mine overseas, and they were much cheaper, and you get straight. I got them straight from Taiwan, so they were much better pricing. But it wasn't it was a 700 milliliter, not a 750. But for $250, that's like a closeout deal that they're selling that store.
I don't know why there still exists. I bought 2 of them, and I went to another one, and there they were.
Please sign me up for the Soulless Moscatel for the 250, Eric.
We'll talk about it, man. We'll talk about it. I can go pick that up for you.
Please get it like as soon as you can, because I'm surprised that it's 400 here and only 250 there. That's just and when it's regularly $600, that's a huge difference.
That was my logic. I was like, I got to buy both of these. So.
They have a Kevlin Solus Vino Barrique for $225.
I have that one. I'll send you a sample of that.
I'm not sure if that's I mean, I've had it before.
I sent you guys a sample of that one from a very good cask one time.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had that one. It's really good.
Yes, you gave that in the blind tasting.
But I wasn't sure if the 225 was a good price for that bottle compared to the Solus.
That's as standard as it gets. I mean, that's 225 is about what you're going to pay for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the 250 for that Moscatel, man, I'll jump all over that in a heartbeat. So
yeah, you should. I mean, that's a great deal. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make it happen.
And before we go to the other side, I was going to ask you guys about some Amruts, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Since we're kind of segueing to the part 2 here at around 10, we'll be looking, and they still have an Atma for $190, and that's a damn good price, I'd say, for that bottle, wouldn't you think, Steven?
Well, it all depends which one is it, because they all range in price. They're not all the same price.
It's this one. It's the.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good price. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll find out. I've not had a bad one yet. I mean, they're all in quality. And Eric, before you haven't opened yours yet, have you?
Which one?
The Atma.
I did. It's sitting in the glass.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I have not tasted it,
I haven't opened mine either, so we were going to open it. I wanted to pour top the court with you together.
Oh, yeah. I opened it at the beginning of the show, so we're...
Yeah, gotcha.
I have not touched it yet, though.
The Atma.
Go ahead, pop that
I've not
sucker.
had a bad one yet. They're very high quality, but they do range in price.
I'm excited for this one.
And as fast as I went through this, you could tell that I hated it.
Well, I can tell you.
Oh, Jesus, Telex!
Yeah,
Telex has been playing, dude.
Yeah.
To find a decent peated port whiskey is not a easy thing to do. So,
well, I can tell you the best one I've had so far that they put out of the Atmas was the sherried. The sherried one put out was, I mean, it is great. It's fantastic for the. I mean, I cleared them out around town on that because it's just a very high quality. So if you see it, buy it. It's a very good pour, especially after it opens up.
Have you ever had the one called the double cask before? They've got it for $175. I thought that. I mean, I know we're dealing with Indian whiskey, and I don't see an age. It kind of strikes me as like, what the hell? But $175 for that might not be a bad
I have,
deal.
but it's been a long time. I don't recall it, honestly. I have had it, but I just don't recall it. It's been a while.
I'm going to get some water before we do this. I will.
All right, man. Have you ever had the double? Well, he's already gone. Let me go back. Let me see if I can do this. We'll just wait for him to come back. The single malt double cask was $175. They had a Trip of Arva. Have you heard of the Trip Arva?
Yes, I have.
It's $140. Have you tried that one before?
Is it? Let me see here.
It's kind of a salted color, caramel, coconut, vanilla custard type of thing. Let's see. It's triple distilled.
No,
Interesting.
I don't think I've had that one. I've had the
Golden
double
brown
cask.
color.
I've had the double cask. I do remember that. I've had the. I'm just looking at the ones. The Spectrum. I mean, that's a special release. They're coming out with a new Spectrum in the fall.
They don't have that one.
No, that's a special release one. Yeah, it's super quality. Let's see. Do they have the intermediate sherry?
Intermediate sherry. No, not that one. I wish.
Okay.
They have one called Cad Ham Bam.
Yeah, that's the cheaper one, I believe. Right? Is that the what's the price on it?
It's
Is that the newest one?
140.
No, it's not. Okay, I'm thinking of a different one.
This one is aged in oak barrels. It's rich in floral, honeyed, nutty, new oak, vanilla, tropical fruit, that type of
Yeah.
thing on that one. It sounds pretty good. How about it looks like the best option would be either the double cask or maybe either that Trebarva, but I'm not really big on triple distilled whiskey, or
Yeah.
Cadam Bam maybe. The Cadam Bam might be a good one to try.
What's it aged in?
Oak
What kind of
barrels.
cask?
It's an oak barrel
Yeah.
straight up deal. I'm not sure.
Portanova
140.
would be if they had the Portanova. That's a pretty good one.
Portanova. They have an old port deluxe rum, but that's like a $20 thing.
Portanova's there. Another.
Surprisingly, they don't really have a whole lot. They got a peated option and like a regular single malt and the Bagheera sherry cask finish, but nothing on the higher end other than the Atma and the Trebarva and the Kadambam.
Somebody say
Kadambam.
Atma? Did somebody say Atma?
Yeah, I was looking at the other Amruts they had at this place, and I was wondering if any of them were worth a try. I'm not big on triple distilled whiskey. They have one called a Trebarva for 140.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
and they have a Kadma Baum.
That's the one that I've been considering buying.
It's aged in oak barrel straight up.
Stephen Connor, do you? Oh, he does have that one. I was about to ask. You have that one?
No, I don't. I don't. I've got of their regular core range. I've got the Fusion, and I've got intermediate sherry, an old one, like one of the original ones, and then
I'd love to try that intermediate sherry one.
Yeah, it's good. It's quality. But everything else is kind of. I just kind of. I like buying their special bottles. I look for the Atmas or their single cask or that some stores put out. Or I did get this, and I'll show you this one because I was going to show you sometime. But this is really good. I've gone through a bottle of this already. This is called a Fusion X.
Holy shit!
It's a special release they came out with. It was only right at 1,000 bottles released worldwide. It's to celebrate the 10-year anniversary. It's to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Fusion being released in India, the first Indian single malt released there. And it's really cool. It's a porcelain made in England container. It's at 50%. It's aged like Fusion, right? But it's an additional 4 years in PX sherry cask. So it's a lot older. It's probably closer to 10 years old, maybe 9. It depends. I think its Fusion's probably 4 or 5. So maybe it's close to 9.
Wow,
but
man, that's
it's really
insane.
cool. It's really cool because it's got they tried to kind of go overboard with it, but they have like protective. You can do a barcode here, and you can tell when the bottle's been opened if everyone tries to refill it. It's it's got this. It's NFC tag, so you can use it with your phone and see if it's been opened before.
That's a serious bottle.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but it's really good. It is very, very good. And there was only 240 in the United States.
I'm afraid to know what that runs, Stephen. If you
It's
don't mind
not.
me
You know
asking.
what? I'll tell you. It's not crazy. It's not like super. It's not cheap, but it's like around. I got a good deal because I bought a bunch of them, but
Oh gosh.
It was it's
Who says
right
I got a
around
good deal? I bought a bunch.
retail's a little over 300, about 340.
That's not bad. I thought you were going to say a grand.
Okay.
You said,
Yeah.
I
you
was
said
looking
it.
for the 800 drop.
No,
I thought
no,
you were going to
no,
say
no.
a grand, like a grand would be easy.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
oh,
I mean,
man.
it's just fusion, right? It's just, but it's 4 additional years. But yeah, but it's really really good. I mean, and
I've
I've
never seen that bottle before. It's awesome, man.
well, it's it's so funny because I mean I could go pick 3 more up in Nashville here if you wanted. Nashville gets we got probably out of the I'm trying to remember how many came to the States, but it was I think it might be less than that. What I'm thinking, but yeah, 240 reserved. We probably had
Wow.
20 bottles in Nashville of it. So
Wow. So Emirates, if I ever need an Emirate, come to
yeah,
Nashville.
no,
It
it's
sounds
serious.
like
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to do a little drive by at some point down there. I did get the chance to visit.
Drive-by robbery, you mean, right?
Well, I did get to visit family here not too long ago. In a couple months ago in July, so that was really nice. Didn't have a lot of time to get out. I would have swung by to say hi to you, Stephen, but it was up closer to Nolan Lake area, and I was a bit of ways away, and was driving with the family, and after
Totally
10
understand.
hours of that, you know how that goes.
Oh yeah. Well,
But-
you guys come down for my 50th next year. That's when you need to come down.
Oh,
Trust me,
it's on.
Count me in. Count me in.
You got to give us both kind of a bottle that you're maybe looking to give us a few options, and we'll have to surprise you.
I have the lineup already set. So I mean, hold on.
I want to still surprise you with a little gift though on the way on the way
Yeah,
there.
man. I mean, a little Wild Turkey 101.
Well, let's not go crazy on the
No, we
bottom.
gotta be conservative. You're right. We don't want to go too wild.
Let's see if this is the right one. Yeah, this is it. So this is the kind of the creme de la creme. What we're gonna. I mean, I've got some other great bottlings, but this is something I've purchased not long ago, but it will be opened for the 50th. But it's a 1972 Brora.
Oh,
So.
Oh my God! I just fell out of my chair.
Yeah. So come on down, guys. And
3.75 out of 5. There's no way it's better.
Yeah.
than that.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you want to take price into it, if you want to take price into account, it's probably a 2.5.
I'm gonna be an edge lord on this one, dude. I'm gonna record a video from the front and be like, yeah, this ain't all that good. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah.
Dude, I've been lucky enough to taste a couple brewers.
Amazing, man. Amazing.
Wow. Have you ever had a chance to get a taste a brewer before there?
No.
Oh, you're in for an absolute treat.
Well, I'm trying to get 1972 distillate. That's what I want to open. That's my birth year, and that's what I want to open for the 50th. And I mean, you only live once. So
well, that's true. That is true.
I need a 75 Ardbeg. I would die for one.
Speaking of only living once, I mean, I suppose you could live twice with this whiskey, but it's still only we have a Amrut Aatma here.
Yes, I was so glad that
shall we dive in, gentlemen? Telex, this was a purchase that you were able to secure us through some, diligence. So I will let you give us the tail of the tape.
Well, I think Stephen might be able to do a better job than me, so I'm going to let him ride on this one. Other than
Yes,
the
6.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's the first time I'm trying it too. So I just opened my bottle. I've got let's see. This is, if I can read it. So this is a 2020, January 2020. I hope we've got the same one. We should. I think they've only released one ported.
January
peated port pipe. Yeah, they have a port pipe one also, but it's not peated. One of 360 bottles. Let's see. So it looks to me, it's a little over. It's all not quite 7 years old. Close to it. A couple months off.
Hold on, a question for you. Is your cask number 4675?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yours as well, Eric. It should be on the front bottom of the bottle next to port pipe.
1 second.
It's right at the bottom of the front.
4675. Yep.
Awesome.
There we go. We got the same one. All right.
That's a
So
rarity,
and then
guys. It's really hard to get like 3 bottles of the same make when there's only like
Oh yeah.
400 bottles. This
That's
is a
right.
very
Yeah.
extreme rarity. This never happens.
And it's 56.6, or excuse me, 56.5% ABV.
Oh, and that's music to my ears, Stephen. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. No, me too. Yeah, I agree.
It's like if you can get it up to at least 50, why not? Because it definitely enhances the flavors and the whole 9 yards for me. Ooh,
Yeah, this is going to be very nice.
nice
This
legs.
is,
Port pipe. Oh my God. Peated port is so hard to do right. The only time I've ever had a really great peated port influenced whiskey, with the exception of the Carriages 2013 and the Brodeer from Lafroig.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other ones that really stand out. I think Kilhoman had a decent one, but
Yeah, that USA Bats 3, but that was only like what 45% port. I mean, so it had some. It had a
yeah,
lot
the
of it.
Umburic type. The Umburic was a decent mess. Yeah. But that's the only peated port whiskeys that I've ever really liked, and those are actually Scotch. And this is a little outside the thing, but I'm really eager to see.
Do you get that like kind of funk note on this? Isn't there a little bit of like a funky note on the nose here? Like almost, I mean, it's like the Dunnage Warehouse Springbank note, very subtle, but it's
exactly, yeah.
Oh wow!
I think
very rich, very full.
To me, this is definitely more of a tawny port than a ruby, but it says port pipe, so yeah, it's not. This is definitely tawny to me versus ruby. I don't think it's a ruby port. I think this is more of an older aged port, and I think it's where that funky kind of note's coming from.
I usually don't get that.
Do you get that on older tawny ports, Stephen, when you get a chance to take?
I'm sorry, the funky note.
He was getting a little bit of a funky note on here, and I'm thinking it might be because it's tawny port versus the ruby port, because I think you're dealing with an aged one on this one, if I had to take a guess.
I mean, sometimes with Amrut, I sometimes get a little funky note anyway, honestly, in the distillate characteristic. But
I wouldn't call
it
I
can see what you're saying. This is more on the cask side.
I definitely would not go as far as sulfuric. It doesn't feel like a sulfur note.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Very rich.
I think give that a little time. And our bottles are just freshly cracked. You're probably it's a little different on yours probably.
Yeah, definitely give it a little time to air out, because the oxidation definitely makes a bit of a difference on these two. But I think you're in for a treat. And it's funny, I usually prefer ruby port, the sweeter kind, than tawny. But to me, this being, I think, on the tawny spectrum, it's still really good. It didn't really throw me off on this one. Like, I've had some tawny ones that I don't like, but this one's actually really good.
There's a nice gingery, like pickled ginger sharpness to this that I'm really, really enjoying. It seems to be working really well with this port cask.
To me, it's almost like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like inside the dram. I'm actually getting a little bit of the bread, a little bit of the peanut butter, a little bit of the Concord jelly. I'm getting like a lot.
Yeah. You can definitely get the jelly. I can definitely smell that.
Yeah, it's like grape. I mean, it's like a grape.
Concord, definitely.
Yeah. Like that stuff you get at the diner.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you get that bready kind of peanut butter-esque type of kind of savory note on there?
There's a savory note, and that's part of it's a little of the bit of the funk that comes
Honestly,
along with it.
Yeah. For me, like, honestly, it's like a sourdough bread.
Yeah, it does have that kind of sourdough.
It's a little funky. It's a little bit sharp. It's got a strong pungent flavor. Man, it smells delicious.
I even get the peat on the nose, which is nice. I do get like a bit of a smokiness to it. I can detect it off the nose, which is nice too. Oh my. Oh wow! I wish all you guys. I feel bad drinking this for everybody because it is damn good.
I'm following you up here.
The delivery is just unreal, and that's that ABV.
Oh, wow.
Eric's he's gonna throw his arms a little bit here. I think it's
You know what?
good.
I've got one I'm gonna compare it to. I have opened, and I think you had this a long time ago.
Yeah,
but it's the Bengal Tiger peated pork pie
oh
from
yes,
you
that
know.
was
Oh,
excellent,
wow.
man. That was
This is really
excellent.
kind of what got me into the special releases for Amrut. So
I can see
um,
why, because when I had that, I was like, man, I'm going to become an Indian whiskey drinker
yeah,
before long,
yeah.
and a Taiwanese whiskey drinker.
So I'm just going to pour side by side and see what I think.
Dude, this is so
It's rich.
full. It's such a
Yes, it
full
is.
flavor.
It's
You know what I
good.
mean?
And
It's
you
very
get
good.
that peat, and you get the port, you get the best of what you're supposed to be getting, and it's not false advertising on this one for me.
No, not at all. God damn.
Now you can see why the bottle didn't last very long.
Dude, that is so good. That's so rich. It's so rich. It's so full bodied. This is the most full bodied, dark, rich port notes I think I've got on any whiskey. And it honestly, I am not the biggest port fan.
Mhm.
I don't like it, but I don't love it. This is changing my mind. I mean, this is so the black, like the plum note, the currant note, the blackberry note. It's so fresh, but yet deep at the same time. Really wonderful.
I'm a fan of port. In my aged whiskey, I really am. And these are some good ones. Both of these I have right now.
I tell you what, I'm a huge fan of ruby port mostly, but tawny, it's growing on me. This is my favorite tawny-esque type.
You think you're getting more of like a dried fruit note on this?
I am. I'm getting. It's with the peat and the dried like port fruit feel to it. I mean, there is some sweetness there too. It very well could be ruby, but I would say feels more like tawny to me than ruby, but. Because I mean, it's sweet, but this one has a lot of nice savory.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just well balanced. It's really tough to tell which one's in here, but I would guess that this has got to be some sort of tawny port. What do you think, Steven?
Wow, that's really good. I mean,
it's so good.
I think it's tough to say on this. I think it's tawny probably too, but it's. I can't say with certainty though. I'm just comparing. I'm comparing the two here, and I'm going to tell you, I know where more of these bottles are, and I'm about to make a text right now. After I get off here, if I can get somebody to hold me one because it's really good. It's really good. I'm comparing it to one of my. I mean, I love this other bottling, but and this has been open. The other one's been open for a while, but the viscosity and the fullness, especially the notes are so big, and the nose is so big with that. It just as it sits.
Are you getting that crumble? I'm getting like this really nice buttered crumble that goes along with the fruit.
Gary's asking. I'm just sorry. Gary's asking about the Red Breast 27 in Tawny Port. For my personal taste, I've had it. I had a bottle and I had a sample and I sold my Red Breast 27 because I was disappointed in it, honestly. So. And I think this beats it. So I enjoy this more. And I'm a Red Breast fan. If you can see my bottom shelf here, there's a lot of Middleton products, including Red Breast. So I'm a big fan. I was somewhat disappointed because in that one it's a nice note, but this one's much more full bodied, much more bigger, bolder port flavors.
Big time.
Yeah, it's and the Red Breast, of course, is a different kind of whiskey. I mean, it's an Irish whiskey, but it had some of their like the 21 and 27's got a kind of a overripe fruit note, sort of really ripe fruit note that I'm just not a fan of. Like overripe, like kind of mushy on the on the ground type of fruit note. and a lot of people like it. It's it's a quality whiskey. It's just not a note that I really enjoy a lot. I like their 12. I like their cast strength. I like the Middleton, the Dar. I don't know how you pronounce this, Dar Galak or whatever. It's the Irish wood oak. That one, there's a lot of those are great because I don't get that as much of that note, but I get the spiciness of the pot still Irish. So sorry, I went on a tangent, but I was just trying to answer his
No, that's cool.
question.
I had a question for you. So you like this Atma so much that you're willing to get another bottle of it, Stephen?
Oh yeah, I'm going to buy another bottle. Yeah.
Are you able to get it better for one? Like I know where you can get it now for 180. Do you have a better
I'd
price
have
than
to
180?
check.
Okay.
I had to check and see what it is. Yeah,
If
but
you
it's
can't
probably
get it
around there.
if you can't get it better than 190, let me know and I'll pick it up for you because I
Oh,
know
I
where you can
appreciate
get
it.
it
Yeah.
still. Yeah.
Oh, I will definitely take you up on that because I really, really enjoy this, and I knew I would. I have all of these Atmas. I've enjoyed every one of them. I have the ex bourbon one. I have the sherried one. I have the port one, and this one, and I think a couple. I
Wow.
think there's probably 5 or 6 that I have different ones.
Yeah, this is like to me. I always like bringing this one out for a campfire outside with the family, and this is why I went through so much of it. We had a lot of campfires.
You were
And
camping this weekend?
we were camping. I
Mm.
mean, in the backyard, like campfire, like out in the, on the deck, kind of just getting outside, and this is like perfect for a campfire. Have a s'more. This is like the best whiskey
Yeah,
combination.
man. I look. I'm with you. This is highly impressive. The things I'm like can compare it to off the bat. It's like one of those nice, heavily aged Glendronach single casks. Like, I'm not saying the flavor is equivalent, but the richness and viscosity of it very similar.
Under
The
two
other
hundred
thing,
dollars.
yeah, that's the other that blows my mind. The other thing that I gotta say is like, and I am not the biggest Mortlock guy, but like the meaty, mouth-watering, savory notes you get off of like high ABV independent Mortlock, like there is some of that work in here that I
Yeah.
think is really giving this a
Makes sense.
character level
Yeah.
that is honestly putting it beyond just a heavily sherry, nicely aged, heavily sherry whiskey. Like that, it has this dynamic of, like I said, kind of a meaty character, kind of a mouth-watering, savory note. I'm not going to go as far as like a sandalwood or like a Japanese whiskey Mizunara type thing, but like it's just making me want to drink more of it, and I'm highly impressed. This is really, really good. This is a great find, Telex.
The peat on this is outstanding too. Where I'm going back for a sip, and the bite is just as powerful as the first bite that I get from the first sip. The peat selection is just as important as the port to me, and they did it both. They picked both so well. It's insane. This makes me definitely, after having I've been lucky enough to have the Amrut Rye before, and that was one of my favorite and first Amruts was the
Oh, the
Rye.
rye. Yeah.
And
I haven't had that one. Did you
after
like
I had
it?
that, and I fell in love with it, man.
Yeah.
It's so good, and I'm a huge rye fan. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I have had ryes that I don't like. Like I'm not a dill fan at all. Like I don't like the
Yeah, I'm
dill
not a dill
factor.
fan either. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
But this one had no dill. It was all perfectly balanced. It sprightly, that great feel. I mean, you can't go wrong with Amrut so far. That I've never had a bad one.
Yeah, this one, it's just, it's bold. It's big. It's is it balanced? No, I wouldn't say balanced, but it's quality. It's high quality.
Well, don't you think the sweetness, the savory, and the port with the smoke and I think that's really well balanced overall. I mean,
Well, that's what I enjoy. That's one reason why I like peat with port sometimes if it's done right, because it does counterbalance the sweetness.
What's your
It's just
favorite
it's tough to
port
do.
whiskey? What's your favorite peated port whiskey? If you had to pick a couple.
Good question. I'm trying to think. I mean, this might be it now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. Did you like the Carriages 2013? Have you had that one?
Oh, well, I
Usually,
did love that one.
Portwood,
Sorry, I
but
do. I have. Yes, I have that. Yes, I love that. I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
Was you
But
lucky enough to have the Brodier, the first release of
but
the
you know what?
Brodier?
That's a different. That one's completely different than this, though. It's completely
Because
the
that's
port.
Ruby port.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Ruby port, and and the peat itself is also that. This is more balanced when it comes to that from a peat
yeah,
standpoint. If you want. But I
agreed.
mean, but the Lefroy. I mean, this is Lefroy. I love Lefroy, so I love that one too. It just this one is just this is so big and bold, and the port note is very nice on this one. I'm trying to see if I have something else open that I can compare it
I was
to.
thinking about the Glen Scotia Campbelltown
Oh yeah.
port, and like,
Oh, I have that one open too. Let me see. I've got that one.
like how youthful that one. I mean, I
Yeah.
love it, but how youthful it is compared to this, despite.
I
mean,
I
obviously,
like
it's taken
this
to
is
nothing but a
much
number.
better quality. That was not bad. I like that one.
Yeah.
But I was singing his praises at a tasting. I think it's very good. There was the rum one the year before though.
Yeah,
The Campbellton Festival, what they put out, that is fantastic for the money. If you could find that for $85, it's a great value.
Is that Glen Scotia one? Is that
That's a
Ruby or
nice-
Tawny?
it's Tawny. That was
It's Tawny. It's Tawny.
Okay.
2021 is a, I think, a red wine. If I'm
Here we
not
go. Yeah, this one. It's this
Yeah,
the
the
Tawny
2021
Port.
is the Bordeaux.
And it's a finish too. It's not exclusive.
Mature, yeah. Gotcha.
So.
Nice. Tawny Port
Yeah,
finish.
that's the one. That's the one. And this reminds me of, like, in a way, what that would taste like, because it has so many of those same elements: the earthy quality, the honestly, like, not sickly sweet port nature of it, which to me imparts quality, and then a little bit of that peat.
Yeah.
Well, like, you put another 10 years on that. This really tastes like it's a up.
I'm trying to remember.
I bet you like the Tawny versus the
17-year-old
Ruby. I bet you like the Tawny versus the Ruby, Eric, because I think that's why you think the Ruby's too sickly sweet, but it's just the younger version of it. But I tend to like the Rubies more, but this makes me a believer in Tawny
Well, you
Port.
like sweet. You like sweet, don't
this
you?
makes it. Yeah, I do. But this makes me a believer in Tawny Port. And usually I don't like it, but I love this bottle. I really do.
All right, Telex. I mean, yeah, we both had these. I don't know. Do you want to rock, paper, scissors? Who goes first?
Wow.
What happened, Steven?
No, it's just the glass is almost done. I'm just smelling it, and the nose.
That earth. I mean, does this not Dunnage Warehouse notes to you?
Yeah, it's Dunnage Warehouse. That's exactly right. It's that kind of. It's
that
a
fresh earthiness.
It's a funkiness. Yeah, it's a funkiness of Dunnage Warehouse. But the port note. Chris, I mean, like I'm a peat head, so this has got a great. But the nose is just a depth in the port is just really nice.
Yeah.
This is the first time I think I really love Tawny Port, which is that's what makes it amazing for me, is that it gets me out of my comfort zone. And
you want to share? I mean, just for folks who are watching, like, do you feel comfortable sharing, like, what you think the difference between a Ruby port and a Tawny port is?
Yeah, basically it's just age. Your 3 years and younger stuff on port is typically what you would call a ruby. And then your aged port is where you get your tawny stuff in, and that's and it makes a difference on the sweetness. Like your aged port typically gets more savory in time. Your younger ports usually really sweet up front. I have seen peat work with both, like the Lefroy carriages that I was talking about in the Brodiers. Those are ruby, which it's different than this, but they're both really high quality ruby drams. And this has made me a believer in Tawny Port.
I usually like Tawny more than I do Ruby, but that's just me. But I mean, I've liked Ruby too. But the Tawny I seem to usually like a little bit more.
This makes me a believer, definitely, because before it was always too savory or too not sweet enough, and this one's got I guess the quality of the cast they're using, it retains the sweetness even with the age of the port.
Totally. the balance, the harmony between, and I was mentioning Mortlock before, like the earthy kind of drier fruit notes. I mean, when you get drier fruit notes on a sherry, it usually connotes age because that's from oxidization, but like, which makes sense with the tawny port. This has that, but the sweetness just rounds it off so perfect. I don't know, Telex, do you want to go first on final thoughts here? I'm like, and like, if we can emphasize, for folks watching, like how to get a bottle of this, like, what this is going to cost, et cetera, et cetera. Or, otherwise we could rock, paper, scissors for it.
I tell you, it's $190 right now in Maryland. If you're in Maryland, you can get it now for $190. With the exception, I might get Steve and Connor a bottle, so don't buy it just yet. But as far as going first, man, since I got it for you, go ahead and you run with it. And
all right, man.
You first, then Steve, and then I'll go last.
So I'm really, really impressed here. Like, if I'm really impressed with, again, the quality of the port here. Like, it is not too much one thing. It's not too dry. It's not too sweet. The balance is really harmonious. There's a lot of earthy complexity to this, which I think is a testament to the quality. It reminded me a little bit of the Glen Scotia. If I was going to compare this to an Oloroso sherry bottle, I'm thinking about a Glendronach 18 Allardyce. And when we're talking about the like depth of flavor, the roundedness of flavor here, this is a really, really good bottle at the let's say $180, $190 price point. I think this meets the bill, similar to like some of the Cavalan stuff where you're just going to pay. It is a non-age statement by certain terms, but knowing where it's aged, you're going to get a lot. There's a lot happening here. I think this is a solid 4.25. I really do. I think the quality of this cask, even with the price, this is just a really good whiskey. If you like a heavy cherry forward with a little bit of complexity to give you some surprises, I feel comfortable at a 4.25 out of 5 on this.
What do you think, Steven?
I don't usually give like a 1 to 5. I give kind of a 1 to 100 range usually.
That's fine.
My mind works like that.
We can translate.
Yeah. You can tell me what it means.
A 4 out of 5 is like a 90. So
there you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm in the range of an 88, 89, honestly, and I'm a hard grader, so that's a very good score to me. And when I say that, I would say probably around there, 88, 89. And then when I say that, I say that with love because this is a great dram, and I'm going to buy another one, maybe more than one. I don't know because I will drink this. And this, and as I spend time with it, it's possible this could go up. But 89. If I give it an 89, that's a very good score. So, and it's tough to give it on the one dram, right? I'm drinking a little bit more, but there's nothing, it's just as well crafted and very good port pipe, a great pipe used on this one, no doubt about it. High quality. So, yeah.
So my equivalent on the scoring range that he's giving is probably like a 93.
Yeah,
93. I mean, I hear you, man. I hear you completely. Like, wow. It's weird to like give such, with no serious age statement, but like because this is like it's a different animal, so
right.
You have to judge it on its own merits.
That's right. I mean, look, you could taste some age here. This is not like it's like a 6-year-old Scotch. There's some age here,
right.
So, and this, the maturation on this was really well done with the pipe. So, it's really quality.
Yeah, with this, this has made me a believer in Amrut. Definitely. I mean, I've took notice when I had the rye, like I said, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And having some offerings like the Bengal Tiger from Steven,
Yeah.
and having some other offerings, then having my own bottle. Finally, it's my first bottle that I pulled the trigger on. Wow, this is insane. I'm surprised because Steven's right. This feels like at least a 15-year whiskey to me, even though we have no idea what the age, in relation is. But with the Indians battling the climate and the heat and everything that they have to deal with when creating whiskey, I'm surprised they're able to do it at this level, because this is one of the best port influenced whiskeys I've ever had. And that's saying something, because I've had Glendronachs with port, I've had Kilhomas with port, I've had Tullibardine. I mean, I've had so many distilleries with port. Tomatin, it's not funny. This is done well in, other than Lafroig and maybe the exception of like a couple other ones. It's really hard to find a distillery that can pull off peated port whiskey, especially not depending on ruby port. This is tawny.
Yeah.
I would assume all the way. And with that said, perfect ABV,
Yeah.
perfect craft. They don't chill filter. They don't color, I don't believe, right?
I'm going to send you guys a sample of the Bengal Tiger so you can do a comparison.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
no, I think I want you to. I think it's this is high quality too. This is a little more peated, honestly, but it's not. It's just different.
Yeah.
I don't think the viscosity is not as much. It's still compared to other scotches, it's got a good viscosity. But and it's an interesting comparison between the two. So yeah, I'll send you guys a sample if you want to do it live and try it out to compare.
That would be rad.
That would be awesome, man.
Thank you so much. That's so cool.
This is definitely. I can see why Steven holds out for the special releases, because, I mean, the Fusion's good, and if you're looking for a $75 bottle, and that's what you want to start out with, that's perfect. But if you have a few hundred to invest and you're like looking for a special bottle to give you exactly what you're looking for, man.
Dude, I mean, and let's not even belie the presentation. It just looks badass. Come on.
Does. It does, doesn't it?
Look at how assertive this is in a minimalist presentation.
Right.
It just looks badass.
And you can really tell on YouTube to screen, but this guy also is kind of embossed, like it's a little raised up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I just realized that tonight. It's funny because I've had this bottle now for 6 months probably, and tonight's the first night that I actually felt the teardrops that you get on the side.
Yeah.
And also you get the teardrops on the bottle itself, and they're actually textured, they're like braille. You can actually feel the brightness that comes off the side of the elephant they have on here. It's actually unreal. I never realized that until you guys pointed out the texture that they have on these bottles.
Yeah, it's great.
And what's great is, I mean, they talk about the bottle in the collector series. When you read about it, it's not a bunch of marketing fluff. It's just what you have in the bottle and what the percentages are, the proof. It's natural color, non-chill filtered. I mean, what the hell else do you want? I mean, this is what whiskey should be. This is what we want all distilleries to aspire to. No chill filtering, no coloring, a good ABV. And if you can give us an age, that's great. If you're in a climate where it's really tough to do it and you can't, that's okay too. But just serve it like this. This is what we want.
Yeah,
I agree.
The
color, I mean, look at the color on that. That is just unreal.
There's a note sometimes I get on sherried whiskeys. And it just reminds me, I'm not saying it's the exact same note, because what I'm talking about is an Oloroso sherried. And I get it from really what this reminds me of. I love Ben Nevis, and Ben Nevis had an 1984 25-year-old that I adore. It's a single cask, and I've searched the world for him, and I love them. And this one it's got a kind of a I would say burnt caramel, but a very deep, dark caramel note. And then this port.
Like a roasted caramel.
Well, it's just like it's just super dark and dense caramel, and I get it in this
Thick.
nose.
Yeah.
Also with this one, not the exact note because I still get it, and I really love that note.
Yeah.
Do they have any? I know this is a port pipe cast type, but do they have any ex-bourbon type of elements to the maturation process in this at all, or is it all straightforward port pipe only?
This is port pipe. This is port pipe only.
Isn't it weird that you can get all the notes off the caramel that you're getting off this though at the same time?
Yeah, but I get that in very old, like this. This is, I'm looking at it right here. This is this Ben Nevis, 25-year-old.
Oh, God bless, man!
Yeah,
You're killing me.
I get the same notes in this.
This is no joke. I've been looking for a distillery bottle of Ben Nevis now for like 2 years.
That's a distillery bottle.
I've got a 10-year back here.
I have to ask you, man. I mean, like, yeah, I have a 10. I have a 10 as well. But have you ever seen this one before?
The archives.
This is
the archives. Yeah, I've seen the archives. Yeah.
This is the 21.
Yeah.
Ben Nevis 21.
Let me look at the which sea-like creature do they have? Or bird? Or butterfly. Gotcha. Yeah.
It's the butterfly. It's the 48. It's 48.2. I just got this for $200.
Nice.
These are like the whiskey-based selected ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Telex and I are going to do a Ben Nevis show.
Oh, man. Yeah. If you're doing Ben Nevis, sign me up. I would love to, because I mean, one of my favorite distilleries is Ben Nevis.
I've had a 10-year for a long time, and I've wanted to get like the oldest distillery bottle that I can find. Now, unfortunately, as a lot of you guys already know, I think Nika is the one that bought the Ben Nevis distillery, right?
They've known it since the 90s, yeah.
So they've been kind of going through their stash, but they're not really. I don't think they're churning out any new offerings.
No,
the 15 has died. They used to have a 15-year. They used to have like other distillery. I cannot find even the 10-year at this point anywhere.
Really? No, the 10 years. The 10 years discontinued. The 10 years discontinued. So it's gone up in value. Yeah, it's gone. I mean, if you can find it, buy it, because it's gone up in value a lot.
I have an unopened bottle behind me. Fuck, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's no longer. It's no longer around. So no, Nika is pillaging that. It pisses me off, because I've been there. I've toured the distillery. I've been there. I've talked to the people there, and
it's one of his favorites too.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, because I'm a huge fan of it, because it's becoming more and more known in the whiskey world. But but they really do ship over a lot of Nika Black, and they've continually shipped over Ben Nevis to be used, and I don't know if you remember let me see where that is, the 10-year-old cast strength. Let's see. This is it. Batch 1.
Ooh.
So this is a very high proof sherry, 62.4% ABV, 10-year batch 1.
Oh my God, dude! Batch 1, 10 years.
Well,
2000. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is great. This is a beast. It's a beast, and it's very good.
I imagine.
Yeah, but this was kind of a gift to the distillery, because they were like, hey, we've got all this. And they put this batch 1 to kind of like symbolize, like, hey, we want to do this more than one batch. And they weren't able to release it all, because I think at one time they had to release it kind of periodically, because I think it was a bottling issue with these bottles, or something, was some kind of issue. But they've asked again, and their owners are just not, they may never release another batch. This is it. We'll see. But it's a little sad, because this is a great product. I mean, all of theirs, the 15, which I do have.
Did you ever have the distillery edition of the 15-year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that one right there.
Oh, I've been murdered.
No, but this
that's
is
that's a good call.
This is a single cast, though. These are single casts, because there's a lot of different ones. This one,
Dude, I just want an old distillery bottle, and I will pay for it. So if you have any extra
I don't have any
15,
extras. No, I don't have
18,
any extras.
21, 25
they're
year
all spoken
olds.
for. All spoken for.
Oh, you're killing me.
You
So,
know, I did. You know what? I did try. This was part of the taste. This one was part of the taste, not this bottle, but just the exact one. I tasted this one last weekend during that. It's a 21
oh,
year old.
Oh, please, dude.
that's
This is
exactly.
a.
Hold on. That's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
That's the bottle right there.
Yeah.
He's gonna mail it to you at a low cost.
This is
Bro.
one of 515. This was Les Maisons de Whisky. You know the French seller, the store. This was yeah.
Très bien,
This was their one of their picks.
Know what the French call them, les incompetents.
Yeah, Les Maisons de Whisky.
Where's Swami?
Well, this is a fantastic. This is a sherry whiskey. They put out a few different single casks, but this was at 21. But this is the best one, a refill sherry butt.
What would it take to buy that from you right now?
Man, you don't have enough money, man. You don't have the money.
$2,000.
You don't have enough.
2,000 wouldn't do it.
Oh, well, that would do it. Yeah, I would sell it for that. Yes.
1,000.
I would sell it for 1,000. Yeah, but we're not going to. Let me find you something. Let me find you something, Alex. That's the thing.
I got a single cast Ben Nevis. I'll send you that for 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
I'll show you if you want to see another one.
This tin back here is looking really sad, and he needs
Here's a 19.
He needs a friend.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna let you guys go at it because I'm gonna sign off. But as I mentioned in my show, I will be off next week. Telex is going to be holding his live. I hope you all subscribe to him. And again, thank you, Stephen Connor, for joining
Eric. Yeah. Thank you, Eric.
I'm going to head out. I'm going to be camping next week. I may send a live video up. I don't know. But great times drinking this Atama. And Telex, my man.
I appreciate it, man. I hate for you to run, but I know
It's all good. And Stephen, man, it's always good shooting the shit with you, brother. Your whiskey collection is a North Star upon which all of our palates will sometime realize. We super appreciate you coming on the show, and
it deserves a double kowtow.
I mean, this is where I live. I live in this room. This is where I live because I don't have any other part of the house because I spend all.
I didn't want to tell anybody about that. I didn't want to tell anybody you live in the shed that is on someone else's property, but that's how you roll. Appreciate you, man, and appreciate your Facebook presence as well, brother.
Thank you.
Keep up the good fight. I'll catch you guys later, man. Have a good night.
You too, man. I appreciate it. I don't give the double kowtow too often. You definitely deserve it, though, for that collection, my friend.
Well, I was going to show you one more because you said about official bottling. So this is another one that I got. They got it in auction, but it's a 1970 distilled. 26-year-old.
53% 20. Oh my! That's that's a holy grail bottle right there. I hope you have that like double taped at the top.
I do have. I do have them up. So yeah.
Oh man,
this one's already got some. You can see that it's a little lower in the fill level. Not terrible, but it's a little lower.
But think of how beautiful the whiskey in that bottle has got to. I mean, I can.
Well, and I'll drink it. It's not like these are not. I'm not buying these to just sit around. I will drink these. I have numerous Ben Nevis open. I just need to. I got to finish my other ones where I don't open everything at one time. That's just kind of how I roll.
Could you imagine how good that? Could you imagine how good that 26-year-old tastes compared to like the 15? I mean, I've been lucky enough to have the 15 distillery.
15 is great.
And it's great, but it's like doubly good compared to that on that 26-year. I mean, could you imagine what that tastes like? It's got to be phenomenal.
I just remember the 15 where I first had it was at a local restaurant. That's a big whiskey restaurant. It's a big bourbon restaurant, really. They have a lot of single barrel Willets and all the really expensive bourbons. And they had that 15-year-old Ben Nevis, and it was one of the cheapest drinks they had. It was like $12 a pour, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take that, and I'll take it again, and I'll take it again, and it was fantastic. It was just it kicked everything else's ass. It was great.
I hear you there. I meant to ask you about this earlier, and I understand if he's not around, but do you know if Kenny is home right now, or if he's like around, or if he's like indisposed?
I mean, a good question. I don't know if he is or not. I mean, I can. The problem is I'm using my phone for the video, so I can't really use it to text him to see if he's available.
I
Are you?
I
What do you
I,
have?
I can
What are you
probably
drinking there?
text him somehow if I still have his number. I have to check, but he sent me a while back a Ben Nevis 20-year single cask
Yeah, that's a fan.
55.6.
You're talking about fantastic sherry whiskey. That's we Kitty and I. He knows how much I love. I've traded with him for that bottle because I love it so much. It's not. I wouldn't say it's super complex, but when it comes to sherry whiskeys, it's right up there with whatever. I mean, from a quality sherry cask, it's fantastic. Let's pour it. I got it. I've got one here open. Let's do it.
Hell, dude, yeah, you read my mind. I'm still gonna
Yeah,
sip on
yeah,
my Atma on the side here,
yeah.
but
I just got a little bit left in this one. That's all. I don't have a lot at all. But let me
oh,
see.
you've got
Yeah,
the
let's
same
see.
bottle there.
Yeah, no, it's this is the bottle here. So
Single
single
Cast
cash
Nation
nation.
20-year. Wow, man, this is the same one. That is beautiful. Is this from that bottle, or is this from his own
No,
bottle, or
no,
do you
that's
know?
his. That's his bottle. I mean, you know what though? I might have. This possibly could be from this one because I traded him an open. He had an open bottle. He wasn't as much fan as I was, and I traded him something for it. So,
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah,
It could be the same one. It could be his
yeah,
own.
it
We're
could
not
be.
sure, but we do know it's 20 years. It's Single Cast Nation, and it's 55.6% ABV. Holy wow! Does that sound like the perfect formula? You've got the best distillery. You've got a 20-year age statement. You've got 55.6 ABV. And this you said was, let me look this up actually while you're pouring yours. Whiskey Base is a really good type of this database for some of this stuff for you guys that aren't in the know.
All right, let's see here.
Ben Nevis, and we got a 20 single cask nation.
It's funny because I just did an inventory, and I know that Silverlock was asking me about open bottles because I know I show a lot of unopened bottles. But you know what? Honestly, I don't care what people do, whatever they want to with their bottles. But I mean, I do like to drink them. But I have over 130 open bottles, so it's not like there's a lot of bottles opened. But I don't want to open. I don't want to open all of them. I do gravitate. I'm not going to lie, and this is me, but I gravitate toward things that I have duplicates of because especially if it gets very expensive, I'm looking for things that I have duplicates of that I will open first before single bottles. Not always, but I try to gravitate toward that a little bit.
And this is the Jewish Whiskey Company JWC Single Cast Nation bottle that you're using, right?
Yeah, no, it's the same one. It's the exact same thing.
This is the 1190 from 96 bottled in January of 2017, correct?
Yes, 2017. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is from 1190. This is November of 96. Wow, let's see, I was out of high school in 94, so I was still in college when this was finished. Bottled in 2017, 20 years. It's a refill Oloroso Sherry Puncheon.
That's right.
Can you explain what a Puncheon is for
Just the
the
size. It's really the size of the cask. It's smaller than a butt, bigger than a hogshead. How about that?
smaller than a butt but bigger than a hogshead? You taught me actually because I've seen
I believe
Puncheon
that's
before.
correct. And if I'm wrong on that, which is possible, but I think that that's right. Someone correct me in the chat, but I think that that's correct.
Yeah, please let us know if this is if we're off. But so it goes hogshead Puncheon, then I'm sorry, it goes butt, then Puncheon, then hogshead. I would
I'm
assume.
pulling it up right now. Yeah, hold on a second. Let's see.
I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just trying to make
Yeah,
sure
no,
I
no, it's
follow
fine.
along how it goes because it's really hard unless you've done this for. I mean, I've already been doing this for 5, 6 years. You guys have been doing this for
You know
10,
what? I'm
20
wrong.
years.
It's well, let's see here. Let me get the sizes. Here we go. It's tough to say from that picture because it's here we go. No, I was right. Yeah, it's right between in between a hogshead and a butt.
So it goes hogshead, then Puncheon, then butt. Is that the way?
Yes, hogshead, punch, and then butt, and then pipe
Interesting.
cast. Pipe is after that. Pipe cast is after that, and then the ton is, of course, much bigger than that.
The
And there's
big.
also a couple other ones, but um, Firkin. The Firkin is the smallest that I see here.
Wow. What was it called again?
The small one's called a Firkin.
Can you spell it for me?
I'm gonna spell off the top of my head. Firkin.
Firkin. Okay.
See if that's right.
For some reason, I thought I was trying to say Firkin and Flyer. That's funny. Let me
And
put it
Firkin
in
is
Flyer.
if I'm not mistaken, I've seen that as a.
A small cask formerly used for liquids, butter, and fish.
Mhm.
Gotcha. 11 gallons or 4.1 liters. Interesting. So we got Firkin, then Butt, Puncheon. I'm sorry. Is that right?
Well, there's a lot below hogshead. I mean, you've got your standard American size barrel, right? I mean, let me pull it. You got quarter cask, an octave. There's a lot of
I gotta
different ones.
pull this
I had to
up. Yeah.
remember. Yeah, I had to pull it up to get the exact ones.
Cask sizes. That's probably what I should look up, right? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
So we got rum, diet, we got barrel, tierce, hogshead, puncheon, pipe or butt, and then tune. Interesting. I never really looked into this until
Yeah,
now.
Firkin quarter cask, the runlet. I think it's called runlet. I'm not sure if that's pronunciation or not. Um, yeah, you've got some of the British barrel is what they call it, which I think is close. I'm not sure where the American barrel comes in the size there. If it's a little bit bigger, I believe it's right around the British barrel, but maybe a little bit bigger.
It's
Not
an eighth of
sure.
a tune. Barrel is like an eighth of a tune, it looks
Hmm.
like.
Hogshead, Barrique. Barrique is also right. What wine with the
Yeah.
like the Vito, the wine cask, puncheon, butt pipe, drum, Gorda, and then a ton.
Is Balvenie the only ones to go to the like the ton level, or do other distilleries do? They're the only ones I've ever heard that have the like a ton release.
I mean, that's what they call it. They call it. I mean, I'm sure that other ones have done it probably, but they use the name, right? So it's kind of easy to, and it's a,
It's their high end kind of release. It's like $400 usually on that one, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. I haven't had a lot of their, the newer ones, but, it's probably, um, I mean, usually it's usually it's bigger than a ton because it's, what they're doing, they're taking stock and they're letting it rest, but they're taking stock that's been aged in something else and then pouring it into the ton. That's how they did. It's like a really old stock that they had.
Gotcha.
But not all. I mean, it's all their various ages that they used in the ton product, especially the 1401s.
Oh, that's why it's
And
in. Yes, I gotcha.
yeah, and so they let it rest in there. I don't know for how long or anything, so I might know that. But and then that's how they after it marriage, after it sat and kind of rest and for a while, and then that's when they sold it. But it is pretty. It's really large. I mean, 250 gallons for a ton. So
That is
and
crazy.
it is traditionally used. I mean, this is interesting. It's the marrying of spirits, right? That's where that's what they did with the 1401, the 150. Is it 1507? I can't remember the name. What's the?
The
But it's
1401 was the last one I was messing with. Yeah.
yeah, but there's the 15. The ton what they're using now is like a 1507 or something. I can't remember because I used to have some, but the 1401 is heads and shoulders above quality of the newer ones. But they also use it for fermentation of beer, which is interesting.
I can tell you in a second. The Balvenie
Could be the
Earl
1509 maybe.
tunes.
Let
Yeah,
me see.
1509.
Yeah,
There's a 1509 is like the newest batch. 1401 was the older one.
Gary said that. See that? Okay.
There's an
Yeah.
1858 at some point. I'm not sure if that's ultra old or what.
No, 1858 is a Asian. It was released in Asia.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a one-off too. You don't see that very often.
I think they put out more than one. I think they did.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many batches they put out, but it was more than one. I know that for certain. I've looked at them in auction. I've debated whether to pick one up, but
I've only
um,
seen 2 reviews. I mean, we're both good, but it's
mhm.
with just 2 reviews, it's really hard to base it off of just one batch like that. But have you got a chance to look at any of the reviews for the 1858 at all? Or
I did back in the day. You know, um, I think for the pricing, I just was not. I searched out the 1401s instead
too
because
iffy?
I'm not a completist. I don't have to have everything. I just want to have what I like and what I really want. So I'll that's what I go for. So
Be
um,
thankful because I have the completest bug, which really
I
is a
know you do.
nightmare.
You really do. Yeah, that's
It's really bad, man. It's so bad. I'm trying to slap my hand because I've been going down this road of getting distillery drams from places, and now I'm getting to the end where it's like Glen Ord and Glen Spey and some of
mhm,
these McNamara distilleries. I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be a lot of money for probably not so good whiskey.
right.
Do I want to really collect that stuff? And it's
I
like,
know, right? I don't know how you
you
do it,
know,
man. When you
I
when
think
you
I'm
bought
gonna
that
have to.
when you bought that Jura, I was like, "What are you doing? Get buying Jura?" I was like, "Man, that's good hard earned money." I can't. Oh, man, it's tough.
Thank God it did get better with oxidation, but yeah, I mean, it's once you get to some of these off the wall distillery. And the weird thing about it is Jura has such a big pull in Europe. I don't understand why, because as you and I know, the craft really isn't there. It's nothing really to get excited about. Why do you think they do so well in Europe? Or do you know?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I've had an independent bottling that I enjoyed, but other than that, I've never had an official bottling that I would want to buy.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Like they spend that much money to buy one. So
Yeah, they're not cheap for those 21 years. That's for
right.
damn sure.
Yeah. How
And
much
it
was
doesn't.
that? How much was the 21 that you said?
I'm afraid to go back and look, but I'm sure it was over $200. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same with
Yeah.
the Akantoshan 21. That was another one I was kind of like, oh, this is painful, but
Akatosha. Man, I see that's I've never bought one in my life. I never will probably.
oh yeah,
So
it's not horrible, but it's definitely not up to where even the Glenlivet 21 was better than the Akantoshan 21.
oh well.
So that says a lot
Yeah.
there with the mass production. I mean, the Glenfiddich Rum 21 was better. I mean
Oh
that
wow.
tells
Oh
yeah that
really?
yes.
You mean is that in the bright orange bottle? Is that the one you're
Yeah,
talking about?
the bright
Wow.
orange 21 was better, I think, than the Akantosha 21.
Ooh.
That says a lot. But I have a
Yeah.
sweet tooth, so take that
Yeah.
into account. But
Okay.
it is kind of I don't know. That Balvenie 21 was actually really good, even for the price. I thought it
Okay.
was the
I haven't.
Portwood was pretty
You talk
good.
about the Portwood? Okay. Okay. Because I think don't they have a new ex bourbon cask 21.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I think so. That's yeah.
That might be worth a try,
It's not.
actually.
I mean, it's somewhat new. Yeah.
For
So,
port whiskey, that Balvenie 21 is not shabby. I mean, I'm not saying this. I think this Amrut is. I mean, for the price, it's probably right up there but the
it's a little thin.
quality, the
It's a little thin. Of
refinement.
the ABV, it's a little
Yeah,
thin for what they.
they do have a version. I haven't had it myself,
Right.
but that Portwood 21
Travel
supposedly,
release.
yeah,
Yeah,
supposedly they're higher ABV.
it
I
is.
would give my left testicle to taste
I've had
that.
it. I've had it.
Is it good?
It's better than the 43%. Yeah, it
Mm,
is.
I
No
can
doubt about it.
imagine.
Yeah.
Let's have a little
Yeah.
go in this deal, man.
Have you not poured it yet?
I did, and I snuck a sip while I was talking to you,
I've been
but
drinking it. So
I wanted to come back and relive it with you because man, this is your distillery, and you were the one that really got me excited about Benevis,
yeah.
and my first intro to like the more funky atmosphere was Bowmore of all places. And it doesn't do it justice. When you go from like a Bowmore 15 Darkest, and then you go to a Benevis 10 distillery, it's like, wow, now I see the light and I
Hmm.
see what a distillery is supposed to
Well,
do.
I'll tell you with Ben Nevis, it's an interesting distillery because they range greatly from a standpoint of like the distillate between, say, the 80s, between the 90s, the 2000s. There is a big range, and this one, if I'm not mistaken, this is around 96. Is that right? Um,
This one is the November of '96 vintage,
yeah.
bottled in January of 2017.
So just to tell, and a lot of the people will know this already, but
Oh
for
my
Ben Nevis,
goodness.
96 is a very well regarded year for Ben Nevis because there's a lot of quality bottles that were distilled in 1996 for Ben Nevis, and it's got this. You can even smell it in this one a little bit, but there's a big fruit note, a big apricot note that you get in that, and especially in 96 and 97 Ben Nevis.
But dude, not only do you get the apricot, but you get a
But it's a sherry
boatload of
too,
fruit. I mean,
yeah,
my
fruit. Yeah,
goodness.
you get a lot of different. This was not as much as you would get in a ex bourbon Ben Nevis from that time period. You get a lot of apricot in those, um,
Oh
but you
my
still get
goodness.
it, and you
This is
get
one of the
some
best noses I've
mints.
ever had.
Oh, really?
It's one of the best noses I've ever had,
It's a
man.
great
Wow.
nose. I mean, because it's got what I like about this one is the balance with the sherry and the distillate, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not overblown with the sherry, but it's still got it.
Dude, this has got some really I mean, I can pick apart the walnuts
Yep.
from the hazelnuts, from the cash. I mean, there's
It's
lots of
there's a lot
nuttiness
going on.
going on.
There's a lot going on. Yeah.
I love the nuttiness that I get from this dram. That's what stands out. I mean, yes, you get the nice fruit, you get glorious amounts of fruit, and
Hmm.
you get the refinement. But what really makes this one stand out for me is all the really nice different levels of nuttiness I get from
And
the
that's
almonds.
I think that's sherry cat. I think that's the sherry cast coming through. I really do. It's
Wow.
yeah, the interplay with the spirit, but it's I know I get where you're going. It's because you get that with the almond. I do get the almond.
What's funny is you see a lot of the barrels, you see a lot of the hogshead, and you see a lot of the butt and the pipes and the tunes. I wonder why you don't see a lot of the puncheon level
I think you
option.
do. I think you see it. I see it with sherry punches. Yeah, I get that.
I
It's
see it, but
yeah.
I don't see it as much as I do the other sizes. I wonder if it's like a nice rarity pull off that you get
Hmm.
from this size, or what the reasoning is from, because I mean I've seen it, but I don't see it as much as I do like a sherry butt or a
Hmm.
hogshead or something like that for size
Right.
level. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh man, the different grapes you get out of this alone is enough
Hmm.
for a price of admission,
Yeah,
man. It's crazy.
it is. I mean, you get a lot of. Well, you got it all in here. You definitely have the white grape, but you have the darker grape too. It's not.
Dude, I even get peanut brittle on the nose on this. It's crazy.
Wow.
I
No, I don't get that yet. I don't get that, but
Oh man, the nose on this is unreal.
the fruit. It's just yeah. This is just a 96 Ben Nevis because the fruit is really coming out. But mine is a little. My bottling's been open for a while, so
It's really nice though, man. My gosh.
it's a quality. And then, you know what? I bought this. This was my best value pick of about. I think it was in 2018 is when I got this bottling, and it's funny because where Eric's from, I mean Benny's had them on sale, and I'm usually checking that place out because I've got good friends in Chicago that can buy me the things and send them to me. But they had this bottle for $120, 125.
Dude, this is
So
like a
yeah.
$200 bottle.
Oh
But
yeah, no,
like,
I bought a bunch of them for that price because it was just high. It's just a great value. I mean, it's super value on this.
I would say this is at least a $200 bottle.
Yeah,
What would you give a
I mean,
value on it?
I'd pay over 200 because I enjoy it that much. But it's
Hmm.
I'd pay probably around. In fact, I think I've traded one a value of around 240 is the most I think I've paid. So
I guess I could easily see that because I
yeah,
mean I didn't even blink at 200, and I thought, you know what? After tasting it, My
Right.
goodness, man.
Yeah.
My God.
But secondary value on this is over 200 now. It's over. It's in the 240 range, 260 around there for the value in secondary because people. I mean, Ben Nevis has gone up kind of in value anyway.
This is well worth it. If you like nuttiness, and this has got a really nice combination of fruit and nuttiness and sweetness and savory notes. Oh man. Only 321 bottles. That's just amazing to me.
Oh yeah, so Gary is saying he paid 200 for it, which I think it was around close to retail. I think around 180. I mean, I don't quote me, but if I remember 180, 179, 189 was so K&L might have had it for a little bit more, but it's definitely going for more than that now on secondary.
I was gonna say, oh man, easy. I mean, it's amazing how good this one is.
Single Cast Nation does a great job with their stuff. I mean, those guys, it's a couple of guys that really do it, and I think they do a fantastic job. So it's really good.
I'm just surprised at how easily. I mean, it's for 55.6. It's very easy to drink too, which is really scary. It's kind of scary how easily drinkable it is.
Well, we've had a few drams already tonight, so that's
True,
good.
but I mean, we're holding our
Yeah.
own though. I mean,
Oh
we're
yeah,
in
no,
good
I'm fine.
shape. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'm just surprised at how wow. I mean, the finish is still going. It's got
Let's look at the chat here and see what they're saying here about this. So
let me go back here. JWC Ben Nevis 20-year 96. That's exactly the same
so
bottle.
Daniel H is pouring some Ben Nevis, so that's good.
20-year, yes.
Oh wow, 10-year. He's poured a 10-year Ben Nevis finished in red wine barrique. So
ooh,
one of the larger
damn.
casks. Yeah, 60.6.
Where the hell did you get this, Daniel? We're curious. I'm gonna look it up on Whiskey.
Are you gonna have another? Are you gonna have one more dram, or how's your night?
I'm gonna have another one. Yes. Let me
Okay.
look
All
up
right. Give me a second. Let me go get a clean glass quickly.
Sure. I'm gonna look up
well,
this.
You know what? I got some water here. I can do that, but let me plug my phone up too.
I'm gonna look up this Ben Nevis barrique and see if I can find the 66. Ooh, come on, 60.
Oh, SMWS. That's what it is. SMWS.
Oh, okay,
So,
60.6.
Yeah, that makes
Let me
sense.
14.4. Is this the one? Maybe. Ben Nevis. Hold on. Let me look up SMWS. Ben Nevis. A type worth a damn. Nevis. Oh man, that finish is still going, dude. The finish is unbelievably good on that dram. Do you still? I still get like this almond / walnut with a bit of chocolate. I mean, it's still going. I mean, it's good to see you, Travis Faircloth. Thanks for hanging out
Hey,
with
Travis. What's up, man?
Yeah, we're having a little special dram here. We're looking at the. We just had a 20-year. We're looking at this one that Daniel's having. It looks like he's having a 60.6. I'm trying to find it on here.
I think Travis is probably the biggest sherry head I think I know. he loves his sherry bombs. I think I don't know if he's had this Ben Nevis Single Cast Nation 20-year-old. He's probably had. It's a sherried. So refill sherry.
Let me
from 2017.
What was that again? Show me what you got.
Oh,
there.
I was showing him the Single Cast Nation one again, showing people what we've been drinking.
The 20-year, yeah. Isn't that amazing how good that is? That's insane.
There's the stats kind of on it there.
55.6. Oh my goodness. 2011. Oh, love it. I finally found the one he's talking about. It's a 2010 SMWS 78.44. It's 10 years old. It's 259 bottles at 60.6 ABV. And that one's well rated. I have a feeling that's going to be a good one there, Mr. Daniel, if I had to take a guess. He says 7844. That's the one I found. So this is, if you want to take a look at the stats, let me post it in here. This is the best way to look at what we're looking at there in Whiskey Base. 10-year age statement for Ben Nevis, they don't go wrong with any age. I mean, any age I've ever had a Ben Nevis is always good, no matter what the age was. 10, 15, 20, 25. It doesn't matter. Oh man. That one rates in the high 80s to maybe low 90s, I would say. I would imagine it says follow the treacle trail, so if that's the name of the bottle, a treacle trail sounds definitely good to me. It's a bourbon hogshead red wine barrique finish at 60.6. It's hard to say no to that. Have you ever tried any of the SMWS Ben Nevis bottles there, Stephen?
I haven't. What I'm into with SMWS, I've been really big in their Lafroig single cask because I'm a huge Lafroig fan. I've had some Ardbeg too and some other Islas, but I searched those out because I've had some really good ones, and I'm not as much of a fan of Lafroig's distillery bottles as much. So I mean, some of them are great. I've got great ones, but I do search those SMWS Lafroigs out, especially 1920, anything up around there. It's fantastic. They are getting really expensive now is the problem, but they were high quality ones I've had.
I'll be honest with you guys. It's funny with it's an evolution to me with going through these distilleries and getting into them, and I'm kind of with Steven on this because like the more I have a Lafroig, the distillery bottles, I like them, but now I'm gravitating more towards some of the independent offerings because the distillery ones are okay, but you can only get so much with some of the ABVs they offer you, like 46%, 48%, if you're lucky. That's for like a 15, 18-year whiskey even. When you get, unless you go for the 25 cask strength out of the distillery, it's really hard to get that level of quality really from these guys.
It is, but I mean, like these are, I don't know if you can see them, probably can't see them, but these are signatories that are their 30th anniversary ones. That
let me pop you in here in 1 second. There we
go.
Well,
this is a 20-year-old. This is a 21. This is a UK edition. This is an American edition or UK Europe. This one here is gangbusters good. I mean, this is one of my favorite drams.
Lafroigs, right?
Both Lafroigs, yeah, both Lafroigs.
Wow.
One's a 20 years better than the 21.
That's crazy.
First fill sherry, but and then you go into the SNWS. This is a 20-year that is fantastic. This is
so long. Thanks for all the medicine. I've actually got lucky enough to have that, and that is a glorious. It is glorious.
Brand, man. It's fantastic.
I
and
I've got KB had that one where I was lucky enough to.
I've got a decent amount of those, and I've got a lot of some of the older ones. I just got this in. This is a special bottling that I'm gonna, because I know it's how good it is. I've had this before at least, but and it's you wouldn't think with the ABV, but
ooh yeah, that's dude. I'm afraid to ask what the year on that bottle is.
It is possibly this. It's really early 80s, but the distillate is 70s.
Ooh.
So it's anywhere from 70 to 72, I believe.
That could be a 75 distillate right there in your hand.
No, I think it's earlier than 70. 75.
Wow.
Yeah, it's earlier. It's because of the. I did research because of the wording and the unblended. It's and some other additional stuff. It's early 80s.
You have to love that they actually clarify it's unblended Islay Scotch. That's awesome.
Yeah. but this this is only 43%, but I'm gonna love every ounce of this because I know they just don't make it like that anymore.
That was like the most beautiful bottle I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it's great. And even this, I've had this before, and I've gone through one bottle. This will get a couple more, but this is the old early 2000, late
Ooh,
90s,
hold on.
30-year old.
That's a
So it's
30
sherry.
year, dude. Oh
Well,
my
you see how
God.
sherried it is too. It's super sherried. Um,
Oh,
but this is fantastic too. It's only 43%. I mean, look, if it was 46 or 48, it might be my favorite whiskey of all time. But at 43%, it's still fantastic.
where do you
Uh,
find this stuff? That's
I
crazy,
mean,
man.
honestly, it's these secondary auction for these because I mean, you're not going to find them at stores, but
Oh yeah.
it's just look, I got them. I'm lucky I got them before they were like a crazy amount of
So
money like
scarce,
they are now.
yeah.
That's the thing. That's they're insanely priced now, and luckily I got them. So
I got to think, Kenny. Tell him I'll
I
have to
will.
think of myself. Definitely, that was. I was hoping that he would be able to hang with us on this one, but man, it's
You,
so good. It's hard to pass
people
up.
are asking about unblended. I mean, back in the day, that's kind of what they mean. It's like it's unblended,
Yeah.
it's single malt. It's just they did that for a long time, and I think in the '70s, and they lost it in the early '80s, and then went to the standard 10, more toward what you would normally see now. So
Yeah,
it
basically
is
not
just a single malt.
doers. Yeah, not
Yeah.
doers, not Johnny Walker. Just oh wow, man. That was so good, Kenny. I really appreciate it if you're watching later on down the road. This is excellent, and I understand why Steven likes this bottle in particular a lot because the nose made this bottle
Yeah.
shine even more so than what it was. I think Steven might have. Let's see if he pops back in. He might have hit something inadvertently. We'll see, but it's excellent. I was surprised at how good that turned out, and I still thankfully have a little bit of Atma poured on the side. Let's see if he comes back in. If I see him, I'll pop him back in. But yeah, unblended is basically single malt all the way. Oh, there he is. Let's get him in here. There you go.
Hey, sorry. I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden cut off on me.
No, that's cool, man. The quality is just insane for Ben Nevis, and that's what's frustrating. It's like you get this Japanese distillery that buys them from Scotland and kind of gets their hands and their arms around everything. I just want to get a really nice distillery bottle at some point somehow. I hope they resell them. Do you think they'll ever resell like distillery bottles, or do you think they're gone from Ben Nevis for a long time?
I think they're gone for a long time.
Damn.
Yeah.
Isn't that the craziest thing? I guess I'll have to try to get lucky on the secondary market or something for like I'd be happy with like a 18, 21,
Okay.
25 distillery bottle.
Well, would we all? I mean, they've gone up and those used to be able to, you could get a 25-year-old for, I mean, you get it for $500-600, which is still a lot, but it's compared to what they'd auction, what they're selling for now, it's double that,
Oh, it's
almost double that.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
around 900 to 1,000 is what it
Woo. That's
is for a
crazy
25
talk.
year. Yeah, and
Oh,
that's for like the 91. I think it's 9190 edition 25-year-old single cask, and then the 1984, because during that time they put out a bunch of different cask that some were like a lot of them were like finished in certain things, or they were. It's interesting the history of these 25-year-olds they put out back then, how they did it, and they the aging process, what they did. Um,
maybe I should stick to a 21.
yeah,
But
that's probably what I
even
would recommend.
but even 21 is going to be probably hard to find.
Yeah,
But
like
if you
double wood matured on this one from 1984. Cast number 98/35/5. So that's and you've got to be kind of careful on what what you're looking at. But look,
Ooh,
there's a lot of good Bid Nevis. I mean, this is another one of my favorite drams from Bid Nevis. I got this for a great price. 1968 Bid Nevis.
nice, wow.
31-year-old, I think, 31, 32. But it's only 43%. but it's one of the best 43% bottles I've ever had.
Wow. That's
It's
saying a lot for
fantastic.
Steven because he doesn't
Yeah,
usually delve into the 43 area.
yeah. No, I'm dealing more because honestly, I'm dealing more because I'm not buying as many bottles, but what I'm buying is I'm really looking for the older distillate. I'm looking for 70s, early 80s Kalila. There's certain distilleries that put out really good early 80s, Port Ellen, Kalila. But then in the 70s and late 60s is kind of what I'm looking at. But those bottles are hard, and I'm not buying many, and I'm selling a bunch of bottles to buy those. But it's worth it to me because it's just like you're drinking history. I mean, it's incredible what you're drinking. So and then those are and you're drinking distillate. They just taste completely different than what you could buy now. It's not even like a 70s art bag. Even a 10-year-old, you look at the 10-year-old or the 12 they put out then, it's the 10-year-old was completely different. It's not even close to the same what it is now, or even in the night, even from the when they started, Glenmorangie, the conglomerate that owns them, bought them out and started
LVMH,
producing.
Louis Vuitton,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's just completely different than what it is now, and it's like two different distilleries. So
Yeah, if you don't mind, keep your eye out for a Ben Nevis 21-year distillery bottle. If you do find it and you think it's a decent price, please send it my way, and that's to everybody.
hmm
I've got the 10-year, which I'm proud of, but yet it's only 10. I would
right,
be really, really, really happy with finding like a 21 distillery bottle, and then I
yeah,
will go towards the independents. But I just want to try to
yeah,
get a decent 21-year. 500 is as high as I'd like to go, if that's
sure.
possible.
I mean, Gary makes, and I have a bunch of independent bottling Ben Nevis because that's really all you can get nowadays. So that's all. I mean, that's all
Yeah.
there is. And there's a lot of great ones, though. A lot of great ones. I mean, we just had one, right? And
Oh yeah.
I would recommend, looking for those and getting those. You're gonna be able to find them easier, and you're gonna get high quality, just like what you just had. If you get something, especially in the 96, 97 range, distill it. There's some fantastic ones out there. So I know you like your distillery bottlings. I know you do.
Well, I don't like them. I just like to start out by saying that yes, I have tried
Right,
Glenturret's distillery bottling of the 23, or I've had
right,
Glen Keith's, or not Glen Keith, that's a bad option. Blair Athel's 23-year distillery, but I've
hmm
also had their 21-year independent that was glorious. I want to be able to,
right.
to have both sides of the fence if I can.
Yeah, no, I understand. Um,
It does make it tough. I
it
understand.
makes some distilleries is tough. It's really tough. You know.
Yeah,
All right.
I
Well,
might have to mix it up a bit more where maybe I'll start dabbling into independence as I'm still collecting some of the distillery bottles. I
yeah.
might try to do it that way to make it a little more interesting,
I
maybe.
mean, because honestly, like for independence, I'll tell you where I gravitate now. With independence, like Lafroig, I do. Um, Unless it's old bottlings. Trying to think where else I really gravitate toward.
Have you ever had a Dalmore independent that you really,
I
really liked
have,
a lot?
yeah. I mean, I have. It's just, but nothing that I kind of want to like collect, or try to really collect and drink. I'm not.
Which
It just doesn't really kind of. I'm not a big fan.
even on the independent level,
I mean, it was fine. It wasn't sherried, so that's probably. I think
that's probably
the
why.
stillet is like this. The stillet characteristics are fine. It's not, but not what I'm going after.
Besides
Um,
Ben Nevis, what's another distillery that you really like the bare bones of, other than Ben Nevis? What's like your second favorite or third favorite?
I mean, well, Ben Nevis, I wouldn't say. I'm not going to say it's my favorite distillery. Anyway, but I mean, I'm an Isla guy first and foremost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm an Isla guy. I mean, that's where I mean, Ben Nevis is right there. I'm an Isla. I'll tell you my brand. Here's my distillery. So I can look and tell you what they are. It's going to be Isla. Other than I'm not. You know what? Brooklotti. I haven't got into them that much. I haven't got into them that much. Kilholman. I haven't got into that much.
Right.
Bowmore. I've tried to get more into the old stuff, but it's too expensive and it's crazy. But
Yeah.
I'm not. I like some of their. You've got to be really picky with
Oh
Bowmore.
yeah.
You can't their core range. I just don't even touch. But
I don't either. Yeah.
there's some of their special bottlings I've had that I've liked. They're for shill releases. They're some independents I've had that I've liked. But everything else, like from an
Did
Isla
you ever get
standpoint,
Did you
yeah,
ever get into the Vintner trilogy, Vintner stuff with the
yeah,
Bowmore?
no,
Okay.
not really.
I thought I had my eye. They have a 27-year French oak that I thought
Yeah,
about pulling the trigger on, but that's the only distillery
yeah.
bottle that I would ever throw money at. Is that one particular year?
They've had one. I mean, one I had that was really really good was the manager's selection, manager's choice, manager's Select from 2019, and it was a 20-something-year-old, but really dark cherry. I mean, but it was fantastic cast. So that honestly, the cast kind of overtook the distillery characteristics, but in a good way. Honestly, it was really good. So that was probably my favorite Bowmore, but I've never had like 60s or 70 early 70s distillate Bowmore, which is supposed to be the
Gotcha.
holy grail.
Yeah.
Um, but Kalila, I'm really big into Kalila, Ardbeg, Lafroig, Lagavulin. Bunnahabhain to an extent, but I don't buy as many as I used to. Um, and then Talisker, Castric Talisker, I
Oh
love.
yeah.
Older, like early 2000s when it came out with the old 25s, the old 20s. The eights they put out a few years ago, not the one last year, but the ones a couple of years ago, 2017, 2018. That was fantastic. That Talisker, um,
How
let's see, Glendronach, of course. I mean, this is all Glendronach here. I'm a big Glen, and I saw some people talking about that uh, in the chat, and yeah, they're on the way down. So I'm happy. I'm glad I got what I got from them. Springbank is another.
Oh yeah.
And then Lecheg to an extent. I'm just seeing what I have collection of really. Lecheg, uh,
Are you
Bal Blair,
excited?
older Bal Blair, some of those. So
Are you excited about any of the new Ardnaho stuff that's coming out here maybe in the
yeah,
next few years?
I mean, I'll
Do you
try. I'm
like
not excited about it, but it'll be good to try.
to make you a little more excited? I had a friend that was lucky enough to taste the new make of the Ardnaho.
Yeah,
He said it was pretty damn good. He was surprised
good.
at how good the make
Yeah.
was. This was he goes by Soba on Distiller. So if you ever see a guy named
Okay.
Soba that goes on Distiller, he reads a lot of bottles. He's very well a veteran, I'd say, in the field. And for
Hmm.
him to say that he got to try the Ardnaho and liked it, I'm like, I'm kind of excited a little bit. It's just to see what their base distillate tastes like. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah. I no, I'm excited to try it. I'm going to be in Iowa next year, so I might.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm going with Kenny and Mo, who you know both those guys. So
yeah.
I'm trying to
What,
talk
what
John into it too, but Mead Mule. So we'll see if he go. Hopefully he can go. Um, yeah,
what month are you guys going? Do you know?
we're going in June.
June of next year.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty cool. I don't.
yeah.
It's on my radar. I don't know if I'll ever be able to make it, but that's definitely a trip that I've got to
Oh,
make at some
you
point.
gotta be able to make it, man. It's the holy grail. It really is. So, what? So, are you drinking anything else? Let's drink one more if you want, or if you're done, it's fine. It's whatever you want to do. I can drink one more. I'm gonna probably do that anyway. So,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna sip some more of this Amrut Aatma on the side here. I
okay.
was gonna
Let me see what I'm
Travis.
gonna pour.
He's having
Um,
a 25 and 26-year official bottling but Nevis but pricey at 60.96 British pounds.
the Whiskey
Ooh,
World. That's a quality website.
yeah. I'm gonna have to take a look at that later on. See if there's any
You better
other.
look at it before I do.
Yeah. If you guys try any Port Ellens, I've been lucky enough to have a couple people, and Stephen Connor was one of them, and Kenny and some of trying to think if anybody else has had the. I've had a Port Ellen also, I think, from either Mr. Lee or Paul Messeri back in the day. But I've had a few Port Ellens, and I have to say they are definitely not hype. They're actually properly rated, well done whiskeys that are really hard to find and extremely expensive, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what I think. How I think of port. The port. I've had a few of them, and this is Port Ellen here. But
The
and I'm
top
gonna.
row
You
up
know
there.
what? I'm gonna pour. I'm gonna. You know what? Let's pour.
Oh gosh, man, you sure?
I've got one open, so why not?
Oh, he's going to the deep part of the realm. 54.6, 31 years. And that's the 10th. Like, is that like a batch number, basically?
It's the 10th release, their special release. I'm gonna tell you, this is my favorite whiskey of last year. Not even close.
Ooh,
Not even close. One of my favorite whiskeys ever.
I can imagine, man. That
No, it
Port
really
Ellen
is.
is nothing to sniff at. Because I mean, though it has the peat and it's got the things that you want, it also has things that you wouldn't even normally even
It's
gravitate towards. It's got
it's
pomegranates and
it's
shit. It's
chiseled. It's
crazy.
chiseled. Let me tell you what the Port Ellen you had from Kenny, I think. This is not even the same league. It's not even in the same. It's
Ooh,
like single A against Major League.
there you go.
It really is.
He's pulling out the big one on this one.
I mean, I reseal this every time. It's just I'm anal sometimes, and
I
this is
don't blame you, man, because
yeah,
oxidation is a real problem we have to deal with in a lot of these
yeah, and
bottles.
I do gas this one too, but I
If
can
you
tell you this one it's a chiseled it's just super chiseled, and it's to me Port Ellen it reminds me of the distillery that it of this in this a this like this is 19 I think 78 yeah distilled in
ooh,
78 so
let there be rock is all I can say.
yeah so so to me this one is it's super chiseled. It reminds me of a big brother to Kalila. Honestly, it does more than. But it. I mean, I guess it. I guess you could say it. It also reminds me somewhat of 70s Ardbeg a little bit because it has a lot of characteristics of that. But more, I guess, more modern though. It's a it's a Kalila on steroids in a way.
And 70s Ardbeg is no joke, right? I mean, that's like the
It's one of my
real.
favorites.
It's like the hot
Yeah.
spot of Ardbeg time.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah, it's yeah.
I would give anything. I mean, it's funny. My birthday is
From
75.
yeah.
I would give anything for a 75 Ardbeg of any. I don't care what it is. It could be like their 10 year. I would be happy.
Well, I'll have to get something, so I'll get you down in Nashville, then, right?
Oh man, I'm not sure what I'm doing for my 50th birthday, man, but it's going to be the craziest place you've ever been to.
All
Ooh,
right, so I think I'm trying to prepare this properly because I'm not. All right,
Steven does it proper, guys. We're not messing around with these older whiskeys, that's for sure. He's got earthquake barriers on his rack back there. Look at that color. Oh wow, that's all natural.
shit, man. I'm sorry. This makes me cuss. This really does. This is fucking incredible.
I don't blame you, man.
I'm
I
a
have
cr-
to.
this you need to put this. This will be your. If you want to see a grown man cry, you put that as your thumbnail to get people to because I mean, Eric, this is dude. It's just incredible.
That's saying something, guys. I mean, Steven has one of the best collections, bar none, of anyone I've ever met in the whiskey world. Period. No matter where the place is, and he has brought the tears by the quality of this Port Ellen that he just poured. I mean, that says a lot in itself.
The nose is just, dude. I can only. It's so chiseled. I just come back to that because it's so. I mean, the fruits, but it's not. It's more of a the
Is it like a
ocean.
is there mid level fruit like is it strawberry
It's tough to
raspberry
even
kind
say.
of thing or
No, no, hell no, nothing. It's more citrus related, which you might not like as
citrus?
much. Yeah.
So we got like the oranges and lemons and limes and
Oh
things like
God.
that.
Yeah. It's so fragrant. It explodes. Like you thought that Amrut that had was exploding out of the glass. Like it had a pretty big nose on it.
Oh yeah,
50%
this
of
was
this
the
probably.
shame. Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, I get concrete, which is an interesting smell, but I get concrete, wet
I love
concrete.
it, man. Like a
Yeah.
Bondo putty almost. I'm sure.
God bless.
Is it like a Bondo putty, kind of like if you're playing with like those
Yeah,
old
airplane
school
glue, maybe
bottles
something
and
like that, a
stuff?
little bit. Yeah,
Modeling glue kind of thing?
yeah, it's more of a
But
kind of, but not.
refined.
It's refined, and it's more of a. Oh wait, oh God, hold on a second. Grapefruit. Definitely lemon, but grapefruit just hit the nose. The nice thing about this one, and I'm not exaggerating, but every time you go back to it, you get something different out of it. And
And
I
you
and I
always
feel terrible. I maybe should have poured this, but I kind of did it on a whim, and I apologize because
no,
here
don't
I am talking
apologize.
about this. But I
I'm
mean,
I'm all
I
for
should have
it.
sent you a I should have sent you a pour, and then we can try it
No,
together.
no, no, no. I'm all for the notes, man. I appreciate it because it's not easy to find these. Is the peat level like medium level, high level, low level? How's the peat
It's
level?
not on the nose. I mean, it's higher than the Amberwood. It's definitely higher than that.
And it's
Oh
what's the
God
year?
bless.
What's the age on this one again?
31 years old.
For 31 years, guys, peat, if it's detectable after that much age, is a testament to itself. So
Well, see,
take that
that's
into
where you and
account.
I sometimes with a quality Isla dram, you're going to get good peat. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 35, 40 years old. I've got 40-year-old Islas here that will still hit you with peat.
Wow.
So I think that's what you're thinking of is you're comparing it to the official bottlings you see from Ardbeg, from Lefroy, right?
Lefroy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's not the case normal. I mean,
Not even the
if you get high
same.
quality, like if you've had the so long and thanks for the medicine. This is huge, Pete, for
Oh
20-year-old.
yeah, that's true.
Huge. Um,
That's very true.
so you can still, and just some distillate just takes it better. I mean, I think Old Kalila takes, it ages really well,
I
and it still
love
gives you a
old.
good kick. Yeah,
I love old official distillery Kalila bottles. To me, I know Eric doesn't like them as much, but I like the old school ones.
yeah. There's no color added to that,
That is perfect.
and
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
and there's no sherry. I mean, there's a little bit of sherry. I want to say there is. This is a little. There's a little sherry characteristic to this.
31 years, man. That's
But it's not.
crazy.
You wouldn't know. You get a little bit of sherry on the nose, but you would not. A lot of people wouldn't even get the sherry notes in it. Oh God, dude, I'm sorry I haven't sipped it because I might not for a while.
I don't blame you. I mean, when you're dealing with, I mean, we're talking about a
Yeah,
different level of dram.
yeah,
Like
it really
even
is.
with the Atma, it's at this level. The Broras and the Port
So
Ellens and the Rose Banks, those are way up here, guys. So this is
yeah,
a extremely
Daniel's. I
rare.
mean, this is Daniel's asking. This is distilled in 1978.
78. Yeah, I mean, Let There Be Rock was like number one when this was going on. I'm a huge AC/DC fan too,
Oh
so
yeah,
that's why
no, I am
I'm
too.
using
That's
Let
my
There Be Rock.
4-year-old loves ACDC.
Mm. There's nothing better than great whiskey, I have to say. I mean, isn't it amazing how such a small drink, even at a dime sip level, can be such a profound thing? It's amazing
Here's
to
what
me.
it is. This is what happens with me. Oh my God, this is the longest finish. This will go.
Eons.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have a dram like this. you search these things out. You'll sacrifice shit to buy this because it's that good. Because you want that experience again. I mean, I would sell whatever it takes, and I've got another bottle of this.
Damn.
So yeah, thank God, because but it's just that good. It's
You can't.
probably, as of now, it's hard for me to say that I like any other bottling I've ever had, ever, and I've had a lot more than this.
Wow.
Because this hits it checks every box that I enjoy.
And you can't
So
make moments like that. And that's what makes it where you feel like, wow, I would
no,
sacrifice a lot to get this moment.
yeah, no. Daniel's asking about the. Let's see where I put that. He's asking about the ABV, and so I'm happy to answer questions because it's 54.6. So it's aged. There's only 3,000 of them bottled in 2010.
Let
So
me
11 years
pull it
ago.
up for the guys. Whiskey Base is probably the best place to try it. Let me look it up real fast. We got
I can
Port
tell you this
Ellen.
one is Surge from Whiskey Fun. I don't know if you ever look at whiskeyfun.com. He's just kind of one of my go-to for Isla's for reviews. He gave this a 95,
Wow.
which for him is super, super high. Very, very, very high.
This is Port Ellen, and what's the rest of it? So I can look it
It's
up
a
real
10th.
fast.
It's a 10th release. Is it 2010 10th release?
And it's 2010, you said?
Yeah, the
Got
oysters
it.
on this. There's so much oysters and
I'm going to post a link for the guys so they can look it up on the side. This is
yeah.
the best way to enjoy it with us is if you click on that link, it'll bring you to the exact bottle that he's enjoying. This is the 2010 special Diageo release, vintage 78, bottled in 2010, 31 years old, refill sherry, 3,000 bottles, tops,
Yeah, and the refill
54.6.
sherry, that is a very used sherry cask. If it says refill sherry only, is that what it says?
It just gives me a refill sherry for the cast type. It doesn't tell me
Okay.
anything else, unfortunately.
Okay.
Oh gosh, 2,500 euros for that bottle, man. My God,
Yeah, it's not
that
cheap.
is in
Don't tell me because
2,500.
I don't have one open. Don't tell me how much it is. I don't want to hear
Oh,
that.
it's pounds actually. Hold
Pounds.
on,
Yeah.
2,500 pounds.
Trust me,
20.
I look at it's gone up a crazy amount in value for lately in auctions. It's just it's gone up immensely.
2761 in euros and 2,500 pounds in
You can
pounds.
you can
Wow.
get them. You can get it for about 2,300 pounds in auction around there, which is still puts you
Yeah.
over $3,000.
That's definitely a perfect though if you're like getting close to retirement, you gotta you're wrapping things up and you want to have a special bottle. This is definitely the one to get, I would say.
Well, I've had multiple Port Ellens and luckily I have good friends that I've been able to drink some. So I've only opened a couple of my own, so it's not like I'm drinking this every day. So I'm not at all. I haven't had this in months, but it's just it's a special whiskey. It is a classic. It's kind of a bucket list one if you can get it. I would recommend um, at least trying a dram if you can find one. Don't have to buy a whole bottle, but if you come to Nashville, let me know and we'll pour it.
Wow, man, that's just crazy. I'll definitely be definitely coming out and try to definitely think of a few bottles that you would like, and I will try to see what I can bring to the old gathering there
Oh, anything's fine, man.
in
It's not.
Nashville, man.
It's I don't. I'm not asking for. It's all about sharing. So you know it's not about what you're bringing. It's all about coming and sharing. So.
I'll try to find something special, even if it's not crazy expensive, something that you can't find it and it's really tasty no matter what the price
Yeah,
is.
that's that's all that matters, really. I mean, that's so it's because for the 50th, it's that's going to be a very crazy night. So it's that's or you just stop by, we'll just pour something. I'm trying
Here's a
to see what
challenge.
else. Yeah.
Here's a challenge to you guys. If you can think of a bottle that would be great for Steven's birthday, send it to me at telex at outlook.com. Seriously. And let me know what you think I should get him, because when it comes to going to a whiskey like festival almost, it's like you want to bring something worthy to the thing. Even if you can't afford, thousands of dollars, you can find a really good bottle for a few $100 that he might not necessarily know about or appreciate yet, or
Well, this
that kind of thing.
Atma would have been a great one. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, I mean, it's not about the. It's not. Here's the thing: is this worth the price? Of course not. No whiskey is. I mean, I mean, look. I mean, I mean, being honest, right? It's not. But I mean,
Right.
if you've got, it's all relative, really. I mean, it's still one of the best, though. That's the problem. That's why it's so expensive. It's
Exactly.
scarcity and the quality and what people kind of how they view this whiskey. So that's why it's so expensive, and there's not many bottles of it. So, but I mean, there's a lot of fantastic bottles out there that I spend a lot less. I mean, and I that's what, to me, one of the best things is to find a bottle that you might like. I might not. I might stick my nose up to it, but then turns out it's incredible, right? It's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just looking at one here that when I went to, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not the most expensive one, but it's a Kalila 22. This is the
Ooh.
2019 official release.
I was just looking at that, but no joke. I was
Really?
trying to find a Kalila distillery bottle that was worthy of an old age statement that I could buy to be proud of. And
Oh,
I
this
already
is,
had the 18 regular, and 18
oh,
is, only 43%. It's
kicks,
nothing.
kicks the 18's ass,
Yeah,
kicks the 25-year-old's ass.
I need the 22 Fischl release is what I
I
need.
mean,
That's the one I need.
and look, I stuck my nose at it because at the time when I bought this, I wasn't too much into Kalila, and also it says sherry treated American oak cask, and I was like, sherry treated, that's what Lagavulin is doing now. It kind of screws up the fucking Lagavulin. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm used to the old school
You were
Lagavulin,
afraid of them, like,
Yeah, I was
covering
like,
their
this is not going to be
bases.
that
Yeah.
good, and I tried this, and I mean, I loved it. It was better than a lot of other whiskeys I had at the time, and including like a Lagavulin 19-year-old Fuchsil is better than.
Wow.
I mean, it was it was much better than that. And this is fantastic. If you can find this
Wow.
one, yeah, that's one I would definitely recommend.
What does
So
that one run sometimes?
I got lucky when I bought them. I bought it for 160, and
Oh,
I would
wow.
buy 20 of them if I could at that
I was
price.
gonna say 160. I thought you were gonna say like
Yeah.
500 or
Well, no,
something.
it's four something now is the secondary
Yeah,
price. Yeah.
that sounds about right. Actually, I
Yeah.
was thinking around 4 to 5 probably on that one. So that makes sense.
So
Hmm.
so Daniel's asking about modern releases that I pour. Um, I mean, man, it just varies. I mean, it's just whatever I still have a lot of modern. Uh,
Show us some of your, like, if you were coming down right now and you were gonna pour yourself like a little dram, what would you gravitate towards on a more of a daily sipper basis, if you have anything like that?
uh, uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, it might be a Kilkerran 12. I mean, if I really,
That's
it's
a great one, yeah.
I have one open there. I think that's a fantastic bottle.
Let me ask you a serious question. Now, recently, I've had the Kilkerran 16. I've had the 12.
Yeah,
I actually prefer the 12, believe it or
I can
not, than
see
the
that. I can
16. Do
see
you see
that.
why
Yeah,
that is?
yeah, I've had a 16 too. I can see that. Yeah,
Isn't it strange that I prefer the 12 rather than the 16 on that one?
I don't think so. I think that's I don't see. I mean, the 16 is fine. But it's nothing like it doesn't. It wasn't like where you have to have it type of thing.
Yeah.
But it was good. It just wasn't anything special. But the 12 is for the price is fantastic.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, for what it is, it's hard to really go wrong with their basic 12 year.
yeah, I'm trying to think 100. I mean, um,
Do you ever get any Glen Scotias on the like?
A few. Yeah, I've tried more of them, but the rum one that I got in 2019 rum.
Is that one of your favorite? If you had to pick like a favorite rum cask whiskey influence, is that one of your favorites, or do you have a favorite one
You know,
for
it
rum? Because
might be this because this is I believe this is peated,
the
and I
Our Big Drum
like.
didn't do it for me, so I'm trying to
Oh
find
no, no, no!
something
Well, this
else
one,
that would
this
do
is
it.
great. This one, if you can find it, it's like I think K&L had it for like $85, 90. I don't know. It wasn't expensive at all, and
2003, gotcha. Rum cask finish.
yeah,
Okay.
fantastic, fantastic.
What's the
Um,
ABV on that? 50 something.
51.3.
That sounds glorious to me.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I've got this one rum, and this is very good. It's a little sweet because it doesn't have that peat as much. It's got the Springbank peat, but
Oh, the Rum 15.
yeah,
Yes,
it's
that's one of my
very, very
favorites,
good,
man.
very good. But I like how the peat kind of counterbalances the rum sweetness because I
To,
am
to,
not as much into sweetness as you are probably. So you
to me,
probably
that
love that one.
Well, to me, that one was interesting because I'll be honest with you. When I first had the rum with that 15, I thought it was extremely disjointed, but it was weird because like the nose and the palate and the finish to me were separate and
Yeah,
but they were all enjoyable. It was like the nose notes to me were great, but they didn't fit with the palette that I was getting. But the palette notes were great too. It was kind of like all over the place
yeah,
when it comes to telling a story. The
hmm,
story didn't make sense to me, but the finished product from the nose quality was great. The
right,
finish, the palette finish, the palette quality was great, and the finish quality was great. So it was
yeah.
all good, but it didn't like flow in like a story sense, if that makes sense to you.
Oh no, it totally does. Yeah, it totally does. This is another one which is an interesting one. And I think I've got a single cask something with this, but this is Cavalan put out. They put out a distillery reserve,
Ooh,
so it's rum. This is rum. Cass, I'll show it to you.
distillery dessert. I haven't heard of that one before. That's interesting. Hold on, let me pull it up here.
Well, it's only sold at the distillery.
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
Did you
Um,
have to go to? Were you able to order this from the distillery?
yeah, I got it through a person, a couple of people that can, help me out to get this. But
Because that's
and
from
it's not
Taiwan,
super.
right?
Yeah, it's Taiwan. I'll pull up the bottle, smaller bottle, but it's rum cask,
Hold on, let me pull you up
and
here.
it was really good. I mean, this was quality, rum cask. It's
That looks glorious, man.
yeah, yeah,
I don't see how you find this kind of stuff. That's crazy. That is awesome.
yeah. It's this is back, with a few years ago is when I got this, and Cavalan, they've changed a little bit too in the last couple of years, but it's still quality.
When it comes to Cavalan versus Paul John versus Amrut, Cavalan you think would be the one that would rule above all at this point, right?
I think it does. Yeah,
And it's the cask selection, the cask that they have makes them stand out. I would
yeah.
assume compared to these other
I
distilleries,
think
right?
if I'm not a big fan. It's funny because I'm a big sherry fan, but I don't like their Olorosa Solus at all. Really, I've never had one that I enjoyed. Never. Um,
Wow, of all the
it,
Cavalan Oloroso Solus, not a fan. Okay,
Not a fan.
interesting.
It's almost balsamic vinegar to me. It's almost too cast. There's just too much cask influence. It's not balanced at all. It's a sherry bomb. If you like sherry bombs, you'll get it with that. That is as sherry bomb as you can get. Um,
But too
and I'm
much in
just
the taste, kind of thing.
Yeah, just too much. It's just too balsamic vinegar to me. It's just too much. So what I've had, and I'm sure there's some good. They're all single cast, so that I don't want to cast a wide net because I think there are good ones out there. I just
It's
haven't
good.
had them.
It's good to have your refinement in your sherry. So I mean, I understand where you're coming from
Yeah,
in that.
yeah. I want some. I want to be. It could be a sherry bomb. I've had some pretty big sherry bombs, like huge sherry bombs that I enjoyed. But it was that to that extent of being balsamic vinegar, just nothing else. It's just kind of one note to me. I'm just not as much of a fan.
I know you're not
So
an Abelauer fan by any count, but do you ever delve into the Abenag kind of releases? Do you ever try that kind of stuff? And if
yeah,
you have, do you like it?
I just had their the U.S. release of their 19-year-old single cask.
Did you like it, or
Um,
were you kind of like, not for me?
very disappointed.
Yeah, and isn't that crazy? It's like Applehour is one of those brands where I want to try to give them a chance.
Yeah,
I've had their 18, 16, Abana, all the releases, but
I mean, I've had
it
some
just
Abenons that I enjoy. I mean, I think if you in the 50s and the 40s releases is the last one I tried.
exactly
I've had some good
50,
ones there.
58 was like the last good
Yeah, I think
Abana
so.
release that I
Yeah,
had was
I think
58.
52 is the last one I had. Yeah. But I the 19 was just, I mean, just so disappointing. I mean, it wasn't off putting, but it just was like blah. And this is a single cast. You spend over $200 for it. And luckily, Mo, who
Yeah.
Mo opened his. I didn't have to open mine. So,
Oh, even better.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Mo.
So, yeah, because he saved me. I mean, because I was going to open. I was like, and I've still got a couple. I have one. I think I have one single cask, maybe a 14-year-old Abelard that I have that, maybe one day I'll open it and try it. Hopefully it'll be good. I'm hoping. So,
But Abelard is one of those distilleries that, like you sound like me, where I just don't really have a lot of faith with those guys at this point.
yeah,
It's just. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about anybody on one hand, but I want to be like upfront with people and be like, look,
yeah,
if you're going to be leery about a distillery, Abelard is one of those distilleries that you have to be careful about on what you
right.
get.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
no,
kind of
I think you're right. Um,
because the 16 and 18 even for the price they're asking for that stuff is insane. I think.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, what I'd like to get more into, I mean, I'd like to try more Brooklotti, and
Yeah.
find ones I really like. It's just, they're all over the board. They have so many, releases back in the day. I'd really want to try more of those.
I would
Um,
suggest that Gary is right. I would suggest getting him with Lacheg if you haven't
oh,
tried some
yeah.
like
Well, no,
Lachegs.
I have 7 or 8 down here. Yeah. So,
What's your
uh,
favorite one out of them, if you don't mind me asking?
um,
Or if you do have a favorite, I'm just kind of
yeah,
curious.
no, I'll show you what I have in the shake. I mean, I have a 21-year-old Madeira, which
Oh,
no, Marsala, excuse me, Marsala cast finish, very
Marsala
good.
20. Oh, hold on. Let me solo you
Wait,
here.
did you try this one? Did I send you some of this one?
Hold on. Okay,
I
hold
think I
on.
did, didn't I?
No, you did not. Hold on. Okay. Lacheg, I'm a huge fan of Tobamori. I've got the 21. I've never had a 21-year Lacheg before. I didn't know they
Okay.
had 21-year ones.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, no, they
crazy,
have.
man.
Yeah, it's not released here in the States. It's yeah,
Oh,
and
I've
they have
got it.
multiple. They have Oloroso Sherry. They have this Marsala. They have PX. I think they have. I mean, there's a lot of different ones that are either around that age. Yeah.
I've
Um,
got to get my own 21-year bottle of Lacheg something. I've
hmm
got to
And
get
it's,
that.
what got me with this is that, and this will get you, and it says Sweet Pete on it. So I don't know if you can see
Oh,
that.
sweet Pete Marsala cask finish. That sounds perfect to me, my friend.
Yeah, yeah, no, and it is good.
How,
it's the dirty Pete. It's the dirty Lecheg.
if
But
you don't
it's
mind me
Sweet Pete.
asking, how much does that one run?
I think I paid close to around 200 for it.
That's all. Wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking 300 to 400 easy on
No,
that
no,
one.
no. I would have paid that
Wow.
for it. Yeah. I mean, this is a more modern ball. This is like a last year's release, I think, or I
But
think maybe
still,
last year. I believe it could have been 20. Last year's a blur, honestly, so it could have been
yeah.
2019. But either 20. I think it might have been 2020.
But
And then let
still,
me show you some other ones. So this
21
is one of
years on
my,
Lacheg, man, that's hard to find.
yeah. I've got a decent amount of. This is a whiskey exchange 13-year-old. This is a really well regarded Lacheg 13-year-old
Ooh.
sherried.
You can tell that's old. What year is that from?
Oh, this is not old. This is from last year.
it's weird because
Well,
they're
it's
really
bottled
good.
2019, but it's a nice little.
They're really good about like being able to show the like the font and the
Everything they show
style that they
but
use.
they tell you everything about it, which is great.
That is great, but the funny thing is that 57.4. Wow, the font and the style that they use, it makes
Hmm.
it feel like it's from the 80s. It's crazy how
Yeah,
like
so
old school it feels.
smoky mango. I'll just tell you the notes on it: smoky mango with a hint of TCP
Ooh, that's
and
my
and,
right up my alley.
and damp grass. Chocolate lime sweets follow with licorice and a rich peat.
I want
It's good.
30,000 of them because I love everything that you just said. I
Yeah,
really do.
and then I've got a couple, because honestly, they Lacheg, I will say they're, especially if you get some of their bottlings like I have here, the 21-year-old is really good. But then, I'm going to give a little pub out to Single Cast Nation for these two.
Ooh, 13 and
Um,
15. Nice.
both are fantastic. I can't tell you which one I like more because they're both. If you're a sherry fan, then you're going to like this one a little bit
The
more.
13,
But
yeah.
I'm going to tell you the 15, tough to beat. I mean, those both are very high quality.
Oh man, they both sound great for different reasons, like you said.
Yeah, I know both of these are like 57 and 55% ABV. So those are good Lacheg. So I'm definitely into Lacheg. I mean, I'm a peat head, so I'm going to be, into those.
Cast Nation sounds like an independent bottling. I should definitely take my eye on there.
Yeah, I mean they're a U.S. based. You ever heard of Whiskey Jubilee? Like they're the Jewish whiskey company is what they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
awesome,
that's
man.
yeah, man. So that's I'm trying to think what else other smaller distilleries that I have, but if it's peat, I will probably have at least some of it. Um, but I'll show you another one that I just had. That was pretty good price. My buddy got this in Wisconsin here lately, and he got one for him, and then we opened it. And a small bottle. Look how cute that is. Um,
Ooh, nice.
so this is a
That
25 year
Batiki
old.
Whiskey Company, they have the best
Yeah,
bottlings.
yeah. So this is what this is. It doesn't say it, but it's Ardbeg, 25 year old.
Ooh, oh, dude,
Yeah,
no way, no
and I
way,
got this for like
no,
two
no,
hundred
don't.
dollars.
Oh God, don't say
Yeah,
it. My God, are you
yeah,
kidding me? A
yeah,
25-year Ardbeg for what?
yeah. I guess it was around 200. I guess.
That
Yeah,
is insane, man. 25,
might have
20
been a little less.
something, which usually goes for $600. Isn't that amazing how that
Oh,
works?
dude, this no. Where you? I mean, dude, the 25 is 850 retail, and it's now you can't get it for that anymore.
Now,
It's $1,200.
I was talking about the 20 something, the 23
Oh
year that
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
did
yeah.
for
Sorry.
the that was
Yeah,
like that was still 5-ish, but still, I mean, you can get that for 200. It's crazy the price better on that one than you can the other ones.
yeah, yeah. No,
That's
and I had an open bottle of this, and it is fantastic. I mean, it's his.
oh man.
It's one of my. This is more of a modern Ardbeg, and it's one of my favorite modern Ardbegs I've ever
We might have to open something like that for your birthday.
had. No, we can't. I mean, look, that's totally fine. I mean, that's
I hate to make a request, but my goodness gracious, man,
well,
that
because you
if
haven't
all
had an
bottles that
Ardbeg
you
that
showed,
old. Yeah, that's. I mean,
oh,
I'm trying to think what else I have for you to open, but if you're an Ardbeg fan, I mean, this is. I've got a
that's
couple of 70s. This is
got to be up there.
this is the one. If I had to pick, even out of my ex bourbon older Ardbegs, this is probably the one I would recommend opening. Look at that.
Oh, El Delphi. Oh, you picked my favorite independent bottler, man.
Look how dark that is.
Oh, I love
This
El
is a
Delphi.
1976 Ardbeg.
Oh, you're killing me. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
19-year-old. Yeah, so
That's
it's. I
one.
mean,
That's just 1 year for my
I know.
magic.
I know. That's why
magic
I showed you.
bottle, and
I
that is
know because
that
it's
is so close that I would make an exception
yeah.
right there.
Let me make sure it's 76. I don't want to lie about it.
If you say 75, I will like drop
Yeah,
my.
let me make sure. Hold on, my glasses.
Oh, so even 76 is insane. How great that is. Oh my god.
1977. Yeah.
77, even, but that's still
Wait, wait,
good,
wait, wait,
man.
wait, wait, wait. No, wait. I'm sorry. 76. I'm sorry. You're 75, right?
75, but I'm not complaining, dude.
Okay, it's 76. It's 76. It's really small lettering. You can see it.
Oh,
You can see it. Can you see that?
that's
I don't know if you can see that.
yeah, yeah. It's perfect. It's that's
So it
just
was from this
crazy.
place. I don't know. It's Towns Wines and Spirits in Rhode Island. I don't know, but yeah.
Adelphi has a great independent bottling. I've never had a bad Adelphi so far, and I've had a few. And one of them was a Deanston Sherry offering. Oh
Hmm.
my god, it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Some of the best stuff I've had is from Adelphi sherried stuff. They have a really good run.
They have very heavily sherried. You know, I don't. I'm very surprised when I see their 6-year-old whiskeys that are super dark. I mean, I'm like, what is going on with those? Like, I'm kind of like curious on what they're doing to make that happen. But yeah,
It's
so
amazing how dark some of these Adelphis I've seen coming out of them recently. I mean, there
they
are
really
like
are.
super dark for
They really
even
are.
12 and 15 year stuff. I'm like,
That's
wow,
that's
how do
really
they
what
do it?
they. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, man. I'm really curious. Daniel's asking if I have bourbons or ryes. Yes, that's the entire this entire shelf over here is bourbon and rye. So I've got I've got a lot of different ones here. I've got the top shelf here that has a lot of one of my favorites. I mean, one of my favorite whiskeys of all time is the Booker's Rye. And I've got a couple of
Oh,
those.
yeah.
And the Booker's 25th anniversary too. Those are two of my favorites. I've got, and I don't know if I showed you. I've showed you this, I think maybe, but they'll probably get a kick out of this because it's a very
So
tough
you like
one.
so anything on the Bookers you're a big fan of, pretty much?
Well, yeah, the 30th anniversary too. I don't have the 10th anniversary. That's it's incredibly insane price wise. It's I think it's like $2,000 or more, but they're $3,000. But
I got
bourbon's just
my
kind of jumped the shark in the pricing.
I've got
Um,
a really like old school Bookers for my late father-in-law, but I was
yeah.
lucky enough to get a couple bottles for him. So I'll see if I can find something for you. I can't promise
Oh
anything,
man,
but
thanks. No, no, appreciate it. Yeah, any of the old Bookers, but this is the Booker Nose Death Bottle.
hold on,
It's
let me
good.
put
It
you up
was put
here.
out in 2004 for his when he died, passed
Nice.
away.
Wow.
So that's
Yeah.
this is you know I have every bottle I have here I want to open. This one is probably since I'm a bourbon fan, but I'm not a bourbon crate. I'm not I'm more Scotch guy, but this is I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably would never
I
want to
bet
open
that's
this because
still
it's just
damn
not.
good. Yeah.
Oh, it's good, but it's not. It's more of a collectible because
Oh yeah.
it's not the like the 25th anniversary to me is expensive whiskey, but it's fantastic because of the quality. And I'm not sure about that. I have it's kind of like you don't know how good that one is because it's kind
Yeah.
of a special. But I've got that. I've got the oh yeah, this is a couple of interesting ones. This is I do like showing these. These all collect dust, but it's kind of cool. But this is the first high end bourbon ever released. This
Oh
is a
wow.
late '90s release of Distiller's Masterpiece.
I was gonna say when it says masterpiece on it, you know it's gonna be pretty good.
Well, at the time, I think this was $200 or $300, which in the '90s was like insane.
A
But
lot,
it's an
yeah, for
18 year
bourbon.
old, 18-year-old.
It's like a grand nowadays, at least.
Yeah, well, 18-year-old Booker knows his release finished in cognac cask. So you can
Ooh,
see kind of
damn.
it's
Finish in
got beautiful.
cognac. Wow,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It's um, really cool. The bottle is super. It's got a you can't really tell, but it's like it's got some etching on it of leaves and stuff. It's a really beautiful bottle.
You got some double wrapping going on there too, I noticed.
Where double?
I don't blame you in the double wrapping.
No,
Make
no,
sure
it's
that
that's
it's
no, no,
tight.
no. It's not double wrap. It's only on top. It's Are you talking about on the bottom there? That's etching on the glass.
On the bottle on the top, I thought you like double wrapped the top of it there.
Oh well, it's wrapped with paraffin. Yeah,
That's
it is
awesome.
wrapped with paraffin.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
would do the
because
same
it's
thing for
yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
just it's just too high quality. It's too much of it. It's a little too valuable to let it do that. But then I've got some other ones. I've got some stags and stuff. But this is a Japanese. If people like bourbon, if anybody does in here, but a Wild Turkey 17-year-old Japanese import.
That's something specialized, man. That's awesome. Like
Yeah, this is you can see kind of. Let
that's
me hold it.
crazy. The dark, man, that is so dark compared to like the usual
Yeah,
wild turkey that you see.
you
That's
know,
crazy. 17
and I'm a
years.
bourbon fan. The thing is that these things have gone up in value so much, um, that I kind of hope the price falls because I can then drink them and feel good about it.
Oh yeah.
Um, because it's just kind of bourbon has just gone up. I mean, even like, I mean, I've got some bottles of, not many people know about Bell Mead, but this is a single, this MGP from probably 4 or 5 years ago, and 10-year-old. But this is like 300, $400 now. It's just kind of
That's
crazy.
that's a bourbon there.
Yeah, it's a bourbon, just a
Bell
10-year-old
Mead is
bourbon,
that
but it's
is it so it's from Kentucky?
no, it's sourced from NGP. Is what it
That's
is. It's
Indiana,
in
right?
Indiana. That's right.
That
Um,
I was
but
trying
it's
I'm trying to
great.
learn
It's
about that some
great.
of that stuff.
It's
It looks great. Yeah.
Oh no, but I mean, you pay 65, $70 for it, and it's worth every penny. It's incredible for that price. But it's when it gets to $300 to $400,
That's
you
when you're
know,
like, "Oh, yeah."
yeah, it's just kind of. And then this is kind of the big. This is my I buy like two or three really good bourbons a year, and this is kind of the big release for this
Oh,
year.
the Russell's Reserve, yeah,
Yeah, the
13
13 year
year
old.
barrel proof, Dawn chill filtered. I love it, man. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. This is, and I am looking forward to trying this one. I've heard really good things about it. So,
What
yeah.
is that one? What is that 13-year one that you just pulled out? What is that
I mean,
price
I mean,
point?
I bought it for less than 100 because it's at retail, and but it's probably going for about 350 on
Are
secondary,
you
354.
serious? Wow,
Yeah,
for a 13-year bourbon, that's crazy, man.
yeah.
I'll have to keep my eye out on something like that. I'd love to try it, but I'm not going to pay like $400. That's crazy, $400 for
It
a
is. I
13-year
mean,
bourbon. But
trust me,
I want to try it though.
it's tempting for me to sell it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie because I could
Yeah.
turn around and buy scotch with it.
See, that's
But
the great that you have a great plan. It's like you take a decent bourbon, but you get a
yeah.
great scotch with it at the same
No,
time.
I'm not gonna lie. There's certain bourbons that are overhyped that I do that with. But but I think I would open that one because I think I've heard good things. And a few bourbons here and there I kind of enjoy and I want to open. I mean, like I always get if I can get a George T. Stag every year. If it's last year's was great, and the year before that sucked, but the last year's was really good. So if I
Wow.
can get that, I'm always going to get those because I really enjoy those.
I
So
got to keep close account to what you guys like when it comes to some of these bourbons. I've noticed that some of them are really great and some of them are not so great, and you got to be
yeah,
careful about which
it just
batch you get and all that.
there's so many. I don't keep up with as much as I used to at all, but because there's just so many craft distilleries or craft their bottling sourcing and their whiskey, but there's just so many out there now. um it's just it's tough. So I'm really, I kind of like buying when it comes to bourbon like that Russell's 13, buying the you know the kind of the big boys bourbon. I kind of go opposite, which is kind of funny because I go opposite of what I would do with scotch, where I go independent. Like with Lefroy, I would rather do independent because I trust them more. But with bourbon, I'd rather go with the big boys like Beam or Four Roses, their special releases, or Buffalo Trace or something. So it's kind of
Gotcha.
opposite. Yeah,
Well, I really appreciate you stopping by, man. It's been
yeah, man.
awesome. Unfortunately, I do have to work tomorrow,
Yeah,
so I
no,
have
no,
to
no. I
cut
do
it
too.
short.
I do too. Yeah, you're 1 hour ahead of me. So
But it's been outstanding. I'm surprised how much I've learned just in one show of going through all these little different things with you guys, and I really appreciate it, man. I'll definitely have to take you up on. I'll try to get out there before your birthday if I can, at least
Yeah,
once.
no,
But
it's totally fine. And
definitely
I
for the
just
birthday,
I
definitely
appreciate
be
having me on. It's
definitely.
all the guys in the chat. I'm always in the chat, so I like talking to these guys and shooting the shit with them. And it's tough because it's like I can't hardly type fast enough half the time. Says what I wanted to say, but it's good to get on and be able to talk about things. But I owe you and Eric some of the other Amrut peated port, so I want you to do comparisons. So I'll get that
You
over to
don't
you. We'll
owe
talk.
us a you
Oh,
don't
I
owe
know,
us a
but
damn thing,
I do
but
now since I
we'll
told you.
take it.
I owe you since I told you. I do owe you now. So
I appreciate it, but you know what I mean. But you don't owe us a damn thing. But no, it's very cool of you, man. And I will definitely take you up on if I ever get it out to your neck of the woods. I will definitely give you a heads up and tell you that I'm in the
yeah.
area because I do go out for like ham radio stuff. I'm doing testing with emergency communications and I help with like races, military,
Hmm.
different types of communications and stuff. So uh, I try to get out to Tennessee because I have a lot of guys that work with me on the radio. So
Yeah.
if I'm out that way, I'll definitely give you a heads up if it's before your birthday. But either way, I will definitely be there for the birthday one
All
way
right,
or
man.
another. Even if I have to
I'll hold you to
walk,
it.
I
I'll
will
hold you to
go.
it. I will.
Even if I have to walk, I will go.
All right, because I've got some other things here too. I've got the Rare Malt 72 Mortlock.
Oh, you don't have to
You
convince
know,
me, my
no, I
friend.
know. I'm just showing you what's going to be there. Um, I've got a Glenn Farkless Family Cast 1972 that's going to be open. So I've got
Oh man.
there's a Linkwood Rare Malt 72.
Oh, geez.
Um,
That's crazy. In
so
itself, I love Linkwood. That's awesome,
yeah, I
man.
do too. It's quality. But that yeah. So and then here, wait, I'll show you the Glen Park. This is just I'm just making sure you see this. So I'm gonna talk you into
Ooh,
coming.
you
But
don't have to talk me into anything. I'm already there. I'm
this
I'm
is
already I'm there in spirit already.
cast number 3551,
Ooh, he's bringing out
1972
the
Glen
family
Farkless.
casks. Oh, you're killing me, dude.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. That look at the color on that. That is insane.
yeah. So yeah, so that's what get you. That'll get you here.
Dude, you don't have to convince me
It's
of
set. That's what. Yeah.
Italy crap. I'm already there with my boots on.
All right, that
And
sounds
I
good.
hopefully, when I'm there, we have a chance to go out and enjoy some music. Because I know we're both big music fans. I've
Yeah.
been playing a lot of drums on the side. I got to get some music out to Steve because I want to see what you would do. Like if I gave you some drum and bass
Yeah.
tracks, I just want to see what you would do with
Little
some like
guitar action.
guitar
Yeah.
stuff.
I
Yeah,
would love it, man. Yeah.
just for fun. You never know what you could come
Shoot
up
me
with some of
something.
this
I'll
stuff.
lay something down. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
It'll be ultra fun. Cause I'm
I
telling you,
love that.
let me bring you around to what I'm
Yeah.
working with here. I'm working with a nice TD17
Wow. Oh,
KVX.
wait.
I've got the Roland SPD SX sampling thing already there.
Wow. That is
I've got the
awesome.
whole. I've got a Mellotron. It's crazy some of the stuff that I'm working with. So I'll definitely take you up on that, man.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. All right.
I'm up for anything music wise too. So it'll be fun to
All right.
dabble.
Yeah. Well, Nashville's Music City, man. So come on down.
Slanchava, everybody.
All
I
right.
really appreciate you coming by and see you soon. If not before next Tuesday, definitely Tuesday. And see you guys on the side. And we'll be looking just to give you a heads up real quick. If I can pull it up on the side, it looks like we're looking at next week. Eric's not going to be here, so I'm going to have a big free for all. We'll talk all drams, any drams you want to talk. The 17th, we'll be doing some old Pulteney, the new stuff, the 18 and 15 from the distillery, and see what they are doing with the new stuff. The 15 I like. The 18 I wasn't a huge fan of, so it'll be interesting to see what Eric thinks of the new 15 and 18. Have you had any of the new old Pulteney stuff, Stephen? Already?
I haven't any of it. I've had the old stuff. I've got old 21s that I really like.
Hold on to it tightly, my friend.
I know.
It's not the same.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. So, but Old Pulteney's that's an underrated distillery. Can be. So
Huge, definitely.
yeah.
Like Old Pulteney, Ball Blair, the Tybev guys have Balmanek, they have
Hmm.
Anok, and they have Speyburn. So you have 5 big ones right there that
Yeah,
you
I
got to
just
be
had
careful
somebody
of.
tell me about a whole cask of 25-year-old Val Blair that they're trying to see if they want to sell a whole cask. I mean, to bottle it. So I don't know how they got it, but they have it. So
I
we'll
wonder
see.
how much they're wanting for it.
I think per bottle they bottled it, it would be 350, I believe,
That's not
maybe.
bad for
Yeah,
20 something year,
yeah.
25.
But it's ex bourbon. It's not sherried, so I think it's gonna be a little harder for them to move, but not a
That
bad price.
The
Not a bad price.
83, yeah, I know if you, and this is a true offer for you, Steven, because I have a bottle of the 83
Hmm.
that you graciously gave me. I actually bought a bottle of 83, and I can
You
still get
did.
it, right now for $400. If you want an 83 bottle for 400, let me know, and I will be able to get you guys
I paid
that.
$2.99 for them. So.
Oh,
Or
you're killing me,
two
man.
89, somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere around there.
That is a beautiful
Yeah,
price for that bottle,
it
man.
is. It's a beautiful bottle. It's a
Because
great. I've
even
got.
400, I think it's worth 400 every
Oh
day
yeah,
on that one.
I think so too. I think so too. I think it's fantastic bottle. I've got a few of them. I've got. I also have a
If
single
anyone wants any
cask.
83, let me know.
That's a single
Ooh,
cask 83.
hold on.
The
What?
single cask
51
83.
point. Hold
Yeah,
on, 51.5. One
yeah.
second. One second.
It's not your standard one. Here's the other.
I was gonna
Here,
say, what
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
this?
You're thinking of this one.
This is 46%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a 46 percenter right here,
Oh man, you're
and that's
killing me.
the single cask. It's a single cask.
How
Also,
in the world do you find that?
that was auction. It
Oh
was
my
in
goodness. I
the
didn't even know
UK.
they had a 51.5 version of that.
Yeah, it was. Let's see,
That's not
bottle.
even opened.
No, no, it's not open. This was not. I haven't tried it yet.
Oh my God.
This is for John. This is for Mead Mule. This is. I know that we're a big fan. He was big fans of the 83 too. So I got this, and we're gonna open this up. Probably for his. He doesn't know, but I want to. His birthday rolls around. That's when we're gonna probably open it. So
Oh my goodness, dude. I mean,
yeah,
I'm speechless when it comes to the, cast strength 83. I mean, I love the 46 enough
yeah.
to like,
40, the
oh
46, incredible. It's
yeah,
incredible. This is.
that
I think
is
this is
crazy.
the 46 percenters only 1 year older than this is the single cast. So they were. This was bottled in 2014. This was bottled
Wow.
in 2015. So
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, it is. These are fantastic bottles. When they put this stuff out, I mean, these bottlings like this were really good.
Oh
So
yeah.
if anybody could find those bulky bottles, the boxes,
They still
fine.
have the
Yeah,
83
there's still
40
some
for
out there.
46%. I can get it for 400 for you guys, but I can't speak to the 51.5 one. That's a whole nother story. I would give anything for that bottle. That would be,
Yeah,
oh my, we have
I
to,
bought it. I bought it a while ago and probably paid less than 400 for it.
do you
So
only have one of those? I have a feeling.
I do have only one. That's one reason why it's not been opened yet. So,
You're
but I'm going to
killing
for it.
me. If you
Yeah,
had two, I would be like, what's the price, my friend?
I
'Cause
know.
I've got to have one.
Yeah. We'll save you a dram of it then. So we'll see
Oh
when.
my God. I will try to return the favor in some fashion, but it's going to be really hard to find a bottle that equates to that, man. Thanks so much for coming by, guys. I really appreciate it. And Salanchava. And thanks so much, Stephen, for coming by too. I'll
Enjoyed
have
it.
to have you on another show on the side at some
Would love
point
it.
if you're up
Yeah, would
for
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, would love being on with you and Eric always.
Even on the side on your own bottle on something, we'll have to talk about it and figure out something.
So it works for
Thanks so
me.
much,
All right.
guys.
Cheers, guys.
Salanchava.